Hi guys. Hello. How are we? How are we? Happy Saturday. Um, Head between thighs. W first time chat. You really made me laugh. Drak, I think that you got first today, right? Congratulations on first. Hello. Thank you for the hydrate already, Apple. My goodness. Please stay hydrated. You too, okay? Make sure you have enough water as well. Hi, Andy. Hello. Hi, Dynamic. Hi, Pimp Seal. Hello. How are we? How are we? Also, I think we got a new follower during the intro. Yes, yes, Axo Throttle. Your name is awesome. Thank you so much. Are you guys a head pat and a bonk back to back? Chat. Oh my goodness. Hi, Silver. Oh my gosh. Hi, Spry. Hello. Quick, everyone scatter. What do you mean? How are you? Aw, Seal, I'm doing so good. How are you? How are you guys? How was your Saturday? Are we putting our heads between Casket's thighs? Not right now. I love your voice. Aw, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Makes my brain and body calm. Good. I'm glad it's calming you down a little bit. I mean, scatter, split, run away, if you will. That's what I mean. I see. Okay. Well, maybe don't run away. Maybe don't run away, you know? Maybe don't do that. Oh, hard eyes. Cute. Doing pretty decent. Sunday is going good. Good. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Casket, don't tell Casket or anything, but I love her very much. Aw, I love you too. Don't worry, your secret is safe with me. Oh, Thunder! Hi, Luke! I'll take it into consideration. How about that? Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That is fair. Casket wants all the hugs. I do. I'm so cozy. You guys know when I do these ASMR streams, I'm wrapped in a blanket, right? It is always so cold at this time of night in my office, so I am a little burrito right now. Casket's voice is always good to hear. Aw, Dynamic, thank you. Casket wants all the head pats too. I do. You're right. Hi, Billy. It's been too long, Cassie. Good to see you. Oh, you're right. It has been too long. I missed you. I hope you're doing good today. I wish I could have a better week. You guys, we are going to manifest a better week for all of us, okay? That's exactly what we're doing. Super Cheese, oh, thank you for the 3-stream streak. Dynamic, you're getting that streak back up. Hey, Cassette, you should call it a dead time story. Ooh. I was also thinking about changing up the name a little bit too. Dead time is really, really... That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like it. Twin, enjoy that cold air while you can. Oh, I know. It was so hot today. IRL, it was sweltering hot. But because of that, my AC was kicking on so much that it's freezing in my office. Please do. I've had a very rough day today. I feel you. I feel you. Don't worry. No matter what kind of day you guys had, right now it's about to get so much better. I love you guys. Good. I'm glad you're getting the glaze you deserve, Luke. Hi, Alex. Hello. How are you? Hi, Cherry. Oh, Cherry, I miss you so much. I feel like we didn't get enough time together today. 3 or 4 hours is not long enough. It's not. Oh, the magic. Oh, you're right. Hold on. The magic makes more sense with the books. Magic makes more sense with the books. I wish I could get a hug. I'm feeling down. Oh, I'm sending you hugs right now, Silver. I'm on my way out to dinner. Ooh, what are you gonna get? What are you gonna get? Everyone here, especially Casket, is cute. Oh, you guys too. I have some fans in here and I'm not even the streamer. Hey, yo. No, we're just all friends here, silly. I know Cass is a tall glass and has legs for days that just demand attention, but the art for the stream announcement really got me thinking that her best angle can be seen when she lays down. Hey yo! Hey yo! Oh, LGA! Oh my gosh, LGA, 40 stream streak. Thank you so much. We didn't, but it's okay, Pookie. There's always more to come. Yes. In 2 weeks, we get to spend more time together. I'm going to be here for stream and then watch this VOD again so I can watch more of you. Oh, you are so sweet. So sweet. Yes, friends. Sorry. Yeah. Not the bald cherry. It's just following you everywhere, huh? Gaisu. Thank you for claiming your daily piece of fruit. Thank you so much. I had such a good day today. Is there, most of you probably know what I did today, but in case you didn't, I went out to get, technically it was lunch. I like to call it brunch because it feels a little bit more fancy, but I went out and got lunch with my friend Cherry in chat, and it was so much fun. We had a whole bunch of espresso martinis. It was a great time. I ended up eating what I ordered for lunch and dinner because it was just such a big portion. It was so good. I'm okay. I'm just slightly better than I have been recently. Good, Alex. Oh, that's so good to hear. The heart eyes are doing something to me. Ayo. Ayo. Cass Twin, I'm getting an Oreo ice cream cone. You want one? Yes, please. Oh, Spry, please. I want one. Please, please, please. Yes. I'm so glad you had fun today. I did. I so had fun today, and I needed it. I needed it. I see Cass is being showered in love, and I'm not breaking that trend. I hope your night is going well, Blueberry. Aw, thank you, Colton. Yes, I am having a great night. A great night. All right, all right. Hey, thank you for sharing. Thank you. I see it. You need more in 2 weeks? I do. I do. It's always a good time with my bestie. Oh, oh my goodness! Don't make me blush. Stop. Aw, a good day was so deserved. Thank you. I needed it. I needed it. I'm gonna do a stretch. Before stream, I was laying in bed and I was all cozy. I was like, this is the perfect time. Perfect time to go live. I may or may not get a drink that's blueberry flavored soon. You should. You should. Seeing Cherry and you interact is the cutest thing ever. You two are so adorable. It's because we love each other. It's because we love each other. We have that real bond, you know? Got the cone. Can't believe there's a snack tax for the streams. Oh no, not a snack tax. Oh, thank you for the head pat. Thank you. Cass, you deserve a great day. Oh, thank you. Honestly, after the week that I had, some of you guys know this, after the week that I had, I needed today. I needed it. I did. I'll behave and won't demand baldness for now. Aw, Dynamic, thank you for behaving. I will, and I'll def show it. Yay! Hell yeah. I love you both, such sweethearts. Aw, you guys. Cass works very hard, so she does deserve her time and her breaks. I do work really hard. You know what they say, work hard, play hard, you know? Me and Cass get BFFs long time. BFFs long time, yes. I can't wait to get into this book. I've been trying to remember where we left off. And I don't remember everything. I remember a little bit. So we're definitely going to have to flip through that last chapter and have a little bit of a recap. I have to go for a little bit, but I'll be back for ASMR. Aw, Billy. I'll miss you while you're gone. I got some sad news. Oh no, not sad news. We're here to have fun, friend. False complaints and they... Oh no. I see. I see. Well, don't worry, friend. No sad news here. We're gonna make sure that you have a great time tonight. Cass, you are wonderful and work so hard. I'm so proud of you. Oh, thank you. Work hard, play hard. Cass, I can't play hard. I work too hard. I'm tired. Oh no. Not I work too hard. I'm tired. Honestly, same. But that's not going to stop me from playing hard. It won't. I can't. I can't be stopped. Mm-mm. Oh, Cass, I forgot to say, I unfortunately had to break up with my girl. Oh no. I'm doing okay though. I'm glad you're doing okay. Keep that chin up, okay, Spry? And thank you for the ice cream. I got my Twitch app working again. I see that. I'm really proud of you. I'm glad you figured it out. Mm. Oh, hi, Teddy. How are you, Ted? Nice to see you. Oh my god, just like me, one of my friends, but nearly 14, 15, or 16 years. Yeah, that's kind of like, those numbers, those high numbers, that's like me and Levi. Yes, ma'am. You're welcome. Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, no. Can't stop, won't stop. Speaking of knowing someone for years, I know. Speak of the devil, or rather, the Oni. I'm good. I'm gonna be headed out soon. Just wanted to stop by and say hello. Aw, I hope you have a great time. I saved you some Church's chicken, by the way. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I saw that picture. Made me a little hungry. I guess the app itself was having trouble connecting to the streams. Oh no. Yeah, the Twitch mobile app has been so bad recently. Honestly, the worst. Honestly, like absolutely awful. One day I'll have a friendship for that long. Oh, one day I'll have a friendship for that long. You will, honestly. You will. Eventually it'll happen. Especially you, Luke. Like you're a good friend. Uh-oh. Is this BL? You're my favorite? Is this BL? Is there BL happening in my chat right now? I just noticed my profile is a raspberry. Yes! You've been, I think the raspberry is a 2-month subscription. Yes. 2-month subscriber. That's my brother. It could still be BL. Don't crush my dreams. Lurk, I'm gonna listen to your beautiful voice. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the lurk. Thank you. I got to fly some jets today. Ooh, cool. Hell yeah, that sounds like fun. No BL with my brother? Are you sure? I'll always show love to my brother. Oh, thank you for the 20 stream streak, Ted. Thank you. Cass, you're getting BL once I finish chapter 1? Can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the stretch. You're absolutely right. 20 streams and you want me to BL with my brother shaking my damn head. Hey, I didn't say I wanted it. I thought that was happening. I thought that was what was happening. Obviously, you're seeing it first because I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. Me went over here wondering what BL is. It's BL stands for boy love. Sure, good excuse. Okay. Okay, chat. Let's switch gears to the book, shall we? Because I'm very eager. So if I'm visually looking at the book, we are almost halfway through. We're almost halfway through the book, which is exciting. Very, very exciting. Let's see. Whoever was here last week, maybe the last chapter will kind of jog our memories on what we read. Alrighty, well, I'm a skedaddle. Okay, have a good night. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you, thank you. Goodbye, goodbye. Chapter 11, I think. No, we're actually picking up on chapter 15. Number 15. Okay, I need to behave. I need to behave. I need to behave. Burger King foot lettuce. I can't believe this. It's crazy. I can't get it out of my head. Luke resurrected it and now it's stuck in my head. Okay. Okay. Whoever brought that up in chat, it was you. It's implanted in my brain now. Uh-huh. Yeah. Same. Okay, chat. Today we're picking up on chapter 15. All right, chapter 15. And it looks like um oh, 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 that's right. Oh, I'm having a brain blast. I remember what happened last week. Okay. I remember. So, okay. So, you guys who were here last week might recall that Alice found a book in the store she works at, and there was like a section of the book that was a letter, and that letter did not belong in the book. It was like someone had magically put it there, and it was she suspects that it was Finch, Ellery Finch, who is and has been her love interest for the past like 3 books. Okay, and the last chapter that we read before we went to bed last week was a chapter from his perspective. So after he rescued Alice from the fairy tale world, and they went back to Earth, I guess it's all happening on Earth. He stayed in the hinterland, and this is, I guess, his recap of what happened to the hinterland while Alice was not there anymore. So the last chapter, the last couple of paragraphs are about what he was going through. Oh, Luna Matthews. What a great name. Welcome to the afterlife, friend. Lovely to have you here. We're going to read the last couple of paragraphs from that chapter before we jump back into 15. And it looks like 15 is from Alice's perspective again. Okie dokie. Hi, Cass. Hi, Will. Nice to see you. Okay. Let's all get comfortable. We all have our blankets, right? Let's go ahead and read the last couple of paragraphs of the last chapter, okay? In the deep, dark middle of the night, he went back to Hansa's. For a long time, he watched the place where Lev was lost. When nothing happened, he walked away. 10 long steps. Then, he turned and ran at the cottage, throwing himself over the blackness at its roots. Safe on the other side, he let himself in. He walked through the cottage's quiet rooms, running his eyes over its beds and curtains, its dishes and chairs. Moving through one of the upper bedrooms, he paused. There, on a low table, sat a little spyglass made out of a rosy metal. For a long moment, he looked at it. He took it. From the kitchen, he took a wooden spoon with a ship's silhouette burned into its bowl. For a windowsill, a little mechanical fox that twitched its anime eyes and its 3 tails and made a whirring sound. He couldn't say why he did it, just that these particular objects made his fingers itch, and he knew that soon enough they'd be lost, along with the cottage and whatever was left of Hansa's tale, to the spreading fog. He dropped them into his old leather bag, jumped to safety, and then ran all the way home. So, if we remember, his friend Lev was basically unalived by this black fog that is coming over the hinterland. so he had to jump over it to get some items from this former fairy tale, and then I guess he went home. I wonder what he's doing, chat. Oh, thank you for the follow, friend. Welcome to the afterlife. Okay, guys, let's pick up on chapter 15. I pulled out Persuasion and read the letter again. Then the second letter, the one that proved it. How had he done it? That mattered less than that he'd done it at all. Wherever Finch was, he was thinking of me, missing me. My eyes were wet. My lips felt nervy under my touch. The air tasted heady, and my whole life looked different under the spotlight of knowing this one incredible thing. He was reaching out for me. I'd thumbed over the brief story of me and Ellery Finch so many times it was falling to pieces. The boy I'd used without telling myself I was using him. The boy who'd betrayed me, saved me, and then abandoned me to the world alone. Not alone. I'd come home to Ella. He'd gone on, following the thread he'd tugged when he learned about the hinterland that led him on a journey to other places. That boy has other worlds to explore, I'd been told. We're not always born to the right one. I'd asked myself the question 1,000 times, and asked it again now. Who was Ellery Finch? I hadn't paid enough attention when he was right beside me. The possibility that I might get another chance to find out glowed in me, electric. I rolled onto my back and pulled up his sleeping Instagram. Mostly it was shots of street art and squares of sunlit water, pretentious quotes written on dirty windows, and pictures of his friends, good-looking people with shining faces who made me feel jealous years too late. But there were a few of just him, lying in the curves of a snow angel, drinking beer on the ferry, backlit on a rooftop, sun setting behind him. Something else was keeping me up, filling me with a fine white fire, pushing away thoughts of silent attackers and blood in bathtubs and the death wish that followed my best friend around like her shadow. Magic. That letter, written by a lost boy and delivered here by unseen hands. It was magic. There were other worlds out there. I'd almost forgotten that. And all enchantments hadn't died with the hinterland. I had a feeling I hadn't had in a very long time. A possibility. Of the world, the worlds, as a vast place, where the cost of magic wasn't always so horribly high, where it could take the shape of something simple and beautiful, like a perfect paper flower. I sat up in bed and called Sophia. She... That just scared me. What? Oh my. I'm not supposed to be interrupting my reading, and I'm sure if Crimson was here, he would say something, but sorry? No. It's okay. It's okay. I thought that was, muted. I thought that was muted. Silly me. Oh my goodness, that scared me. My God, was that loud for you guys, or was I the only one that heard that? My gosh, Lively, thank you so much. Thank you. Hold on. If that happens again, that's gonna scare me again. So I need to quickly do something about that. I'm so sorry, chat. No, do not apologize. That is so kind of you. I'm so sorry. No, it's okay. It is so okay. It's really not on you. It's totally me. I I just can't believe that's the first time that that's happened in an ASMR stream. Like, what? What? How is that the first time that's happened? That's insane. Oh, is it this one? Ah, it is this one. I can't believe that that's the first time that's happened. Lively, how am I going to know if you didn't do that? If anything, you helped me. Have a good night, Colton. Holy shit, that scared me. Okay, I think I updated it now. Oh my goodness. Alright, we should be good. Let me pick up where I left off, okay? Okay, where did we leave off? Oh, here we go. There wasn't a sound for us, though. Don't worry, Ghosty. Okay, good. Thank you. That's what I was worried about. It scared me. I wanted to make sure it didn't scare you. Okay. Something else was keeping me up, filling me with a fine white fire, pushing away thoughts of silent attackers and bloodbaths in bathtubs and the death wish that followed my best friend around like her shadow. Magic. That letter, written by a lost boy and delivered here by unseen hands. It was magic. There were other worlds out there. I'd almost forgotten that. And all enchantments hadn't died with the hinterland. I had a feeling I hadn't had in a very long time. Of possibility. Of the worlds, as a vast place where the cost of magic wasn't always so horribly high, where it could take the shape of something simple and beautiful, like a perfect paper flower. I sat up in bed and called Sophia. She picked up on the third ring and said nothing. You left me, I said, on the fire escape. More silence. It wasn't me. You know that, right? The connection was bad. Her voice sounded far away. I know you, she said. That, I didn't know what that meant, or whether it was meant to be comforting. I guess I didn't care. We need to talk. Meet me at the diner in half an hour. It would have been a whole thing getting out if Ella was still awake, but she'd crashed on the couch, and her feet slung up over the back, and her old Afghan thrown over her legs. I wanted to kiss her forehead, take the cracked-spined book of tender morsels off her chest, but if I tried that, she'd pop out of sleep like a jack-in-the-box. So I just watched her. Watched the dark mass itself over her head, like the gathered detritus of her dreams. There was a time when I could have guessed at their contents, but that time had passed. I'd been holding myself back, letting her grow strange to me. And tonight, I'd done something worse. I'd come home to her, even after what happened on the subway. Even after seeing Genevieve dead in the dark, I'd traced my steps back to Brooklyn, not knowing who was watching me, whether they'd try one more time to hurt me, whether I was leading death to her door. The annihilating anger that made me reckless in Red Hook, that saved my life on the train, was folded away. What I felt now was clinical and bright, more promise than threat. I wasn't going to be a victim anymore, a monster either. I was going to find the creature who turned me into both, in that subway car, in the dark. That's the end of chapter 15. Thank you for the hydrate, Sirius. Thank you. Let me do that for you really quick. Oh, my gosh. So, Cass, what do I think? What do I think's going to happen next? Go ahead. Go ahead. Ask the question. You sillies. I don't know. It was kind of just more or less a recap chapter, which was nice. That was really nice of the book to have a recap chapter right there when we needed one. What do you think will happen next? I don't know. The picture on chapter 16 is a little kitsune. Looks like a stuffed kitsune doll. Oh, hi, Bella. Nice to see you. Welcome in. It's good, so I can remember what happened earlier. Yes, indeed. Ah. Okay. Chapter 16. That seemed like a shorter chapter. Yeah, it definitely was. It definitely was. Chapter 16. The breaking of Hansa the Traveler was an end, and it was a beginning. It was the start of Finch's new career. He was a scavenger, a thief. As the tales kept breaking and people started panicking, and the roads and trees and even the taverns were crawling with recent stories, confused and enraged, and stinking of burnt sugar and exploded flashbulbs, Finch was moving through the cracked landscapes they left behind. Before the tales and everything in them could turn into black holes, he walked their disintegrating halls. From a fading farmhouse, he took a blown glass rose and a child's leather boot. From the bottom of an abandoned cornicle, he took a bone fishing hook, a little tarnished mirror, and a handful of iridescent fish scales, big as his palm and diamond hard. In an overgrown pear grove, he found a dancing slipper, worn through. It looked like one of the beat-up Caspizone his junior high school girlfriend used to wear with her jeans. Deep in the trees, from a murder cabin straight out of The Evil Dead, he took what looked like a ginger root, colored a deep, burnished maroon. But the thing felt so vile, even through the old leather of his bag, he ended up throwing it out his window in the middle of the night. When I woke up, there's gonna be an evil beanstalk out there, he thought, lying back in bed. It's like I've never read a fairy tale. The beanstalk didn't show, but he still had things to worry about. He was living with Janet and Ingrid in their cottage, which smelled like rosemary and soil and a tinge of the goat pen Ingrid was bad at wiping off her boots. It drove Janet nuts. They'd given him a home, helped make the hinterland feel like a home, and now they were talking about leaving. Everyone was those days. The stories were shaking loose, and the sinkholes were getting worse, and Lev was only the first death, the first disappearance. It was possible, Elaine liked to say hopefully, that he was still alive. Maybe he'd slipped right back through to Earth. Maybe that was what everyone should do. Show a little faith that the sinkholes worked like doors. It was a popular theory no one ever tested on purpose. No, their continued survival depended on the spinner. They were waiting for her to step in, to rebuild her world tale by tale. Surely the wound Finch had made in it wasn't mortal. Surely she'd show herself at last and open a door. The X-stories had their own ways out of the hinterland, but none of them seemed inclined to talk. The refugees were trapped together like rats on a splintering ship. Everyone had a theory about the spinner, that she was an X-story herself, that she was just another human, or had been once upon a time. Someone swore she was the Empress Josephine. There was an old straight-edged dude who hung around the tavern sipping water, who claimed the spinner used to send him to Earth for cases of gin, satin pajamas, paperbacks, and chocolate bars and black tea. Finch believed it. She's not human. not story, and not to be trifled with or depended upon, Janet said briskly. We need a contingency plan. But that was just talk. Even Janet couldn't muscle up an escape route where none existed. People were starting to lose faith. There were town hall meetings almost daily, and patrols were set up around some of the bigger sinkholes. Janet did her best to impose a curfew. Still, people were lost. The hinterland's refugees were wanderers by nature. Finch wasn't the only one pressing his luck, poking around the changing land. Then came the night, when they were packed into the tavern, sardine tight and hiding out from a rare rainstorm. The weather had gone off since the stories started to break. Elaine was in the back checking on a batch of home brew when he gave a holler, and Finch knew. It was a round, little hobbit door set in a place that had been solid wall, the top of it coming to Finch's thigh. Janet looked at it with her hands on her hips. Let's not be hasty, she said. Hasty? A man pushed to the front of the crowd, blonde eyebrows scaling his bald head. Finch had known his type back in New York. He was the guy who composed and canvassed and spent his weekends gathering signatures for a petition to save an endangered beetle, and then called the cops on kids being too loud on the sidewalk. We're dying out here, and you're talking about don't be hasty? Janet sized him up. Thank you, Leon. We can always count on you for dissenting opinion. If you're volunteering to go first, please be my guest. Leon's eyebrows climbed up even higher. You'd like that, wouldn't you? I'd like it tremendously. I think most of us would. Even Janet was getting ruffled these days. But it was Elaine who got to his knees and opened the door. Half the room gasped, and Leon ducked and covered. All you could see through it was gray fog, like it opened straight into a cloud. Then a wind came through, a bracing, whistling thing that lapped the room and left them in silence. Perfume. Isabel's perfume. Leon's face was red. He looked like he was hardly breathing. Baby powder, he choked out. And grilled cheese? Did you smell that? Everyone was murmuring now, their faces lit up or shut down, naming the promises that had been blown through the door. Finch looked to Janet. She said nothing, but her face was stricken. They were all wrong anyway. The wind had smelled like his mother's coconut oil, and the gingery spice mix she'd kept on the kitchen counter. It smelled like the lace of overdone waffles, the very last meal he'd eaten on Earth. Within a few hours, people started leaving through the door. Whatever was on the other side of it, they decided it was better than what lay through the sinkholes. Finch figured they were probably right. But he remembered something he'd read once, about the door to the kingdom of heaven being so low you had to enter it kneeling. This didn't feel like that. It felt like the spinner being petty, making them crawl their asses out through a doggy door. The sheer cuteness of it felt sinister as fuck. He was still waiting for her to show up and show him what she thought of idiot earthlings who messed with the works. But if she blamed him for her falling apart world, she hadn't said so. Some days he thought that was deliberate, that she knew it was worse for him this way, forever bracing for the hammer to come down. And some days he thought the worst thing she could do was to just let him leave. Maybe the door in the tavern wall would drop him in New York. He'd move back in with his dad and stepmom, get his GED, let his dad pay his way into good college, ring a buzzer somewhere, wait for Alice to open the door. Part of him wanted to go home, but none of him wanted it to be like this. Raw, scared, scarred, pared down. If he went back, he wanted it to be like a king in exile returned. Someone who had seen things and wasn't shit at processing them. But as the days passed, and the population dropped. He started to think it wouldn't happen that way. On a humid morning, with nowhere at all to be, Finch sat at a table in the tavern. It had lost its heart when Elaine left the morning after the door first appeared, and had practically become a bus station since then. People walked through with their packs tied tight, alone or in pairs, said tearful goodbyes, by the bar or slipped through without a word. And always the place smelled like memories. Every time the door was opened, that antic wind sprang free, teeming with lost things. The sugar cloud of baked ice cream cone at the Sunday shop a few blocks from his apartment on the Upper East Side. The rubber and sweat scent of indoor basketball practice. His dad's clovey cologne. He marinated in the sense of home, watching people disappear forever into the back of the bar. While he did it, he toyed with the little metal fox he'd taken from Hans's cottage. There was a trick to it. He was sure there was. It had big eyes and 3 twitching tails, like those creepy vintage cat clocks, and it made a chittering sound in its throat. The points of its ears and tail were tipped in gold, but the rest of it was red metal. If you put your ear up to its belly, you could hear the faintest hum. It took time for him to notice the girl watching him from another table. Early 20s, hair bleached out and tied back into Heidi braids, wearing 3 different shades of faded black. She had an unflappable vibe that reminded him of Janet, and when Finch finally looked at her, she smiled brightly and stood, like being noticed was as good as an invitation. "Hey," she said, sitting down across from him. "Come here often?" Finch nodded at the weak joke and said nothing. The girl pulled out a red glass bottle and set it between them. "I think we missed last call, so I brought my own. You want?" He put down the fox. "Look, do I know you?" "I doubt it. I just got into town." Reluctantly, he was interested. "From where?" "I've been on walkabout. Well, sailabout, I guess. I wanted to check out the islands, see what came after the edge of the sea." Finch's heart twanged. He'd always planned on doing that. "How far did you get? What did you find?" Her voice fell into the easy cadence of a storyteller's. "I found a tale that played out on an island the size of this bar. I saw mermaids singing down storms and stirring them into the water. There's a square of sea that's always stormy, with a ship tossing inside of it. There's a place where you can take a staircase down to the bottom of the sea and walk in a garden there, with the water just over your head." Her voice stalled out. It was beautiful, but it wasn't home. The way she said the word caught at him, like home meant just one place to her, and she knew exactly where to find it. "Where's home?" "It'll take more than one drink to get me to tell you that," she smiled. But he didn't think she was joking. "I came over here to ask you about that thing you're messing with, that—" She squinted. "What is it, a fox? Mind if I take a look?" Finch took his hands off of it, like, be my guest. "Tail made, right?" He nodded grudgingly. It was the first time he'd heard the term. "I thought so." She picked it up, inspected it with a jerk, and she yanked its central tail. The fox gave a whirring shudder as she placed it in the center of the table. They watched it rearrange itself, the tail elongating, becoming 2 arms and a pair of molded-together legs, the eyes transforming, disconcertingly, into breasts, and a head sprouted from the body of the thing as it went from apple to hourglass. It had become a metal woman, with a sly, foxy face. Finch picked it up, held it to his ear to see if he could still hear the hum. "How did you know it could do that?" "Better question is, what else can it do?" She flicked the thing onto its side. "Do you have any more like it?" Finch thought of the glass rose, the fish scales, the rest of the cash he kept under his bed. "I might. Who's asking?" The girl put out a hand. Oh my gosh, this name. Elanthe? Elanthe. Happy to meet you. He shook it, taking in her ice-haired prettiness, the shallow bowls of her clavicle, and the unearthly planes of her face. He was starting to think she might come from someplace farther than New York. Ellery, he said. Finch. Well, Ellery, the truth is I don't want to die here, and I think you and I might be able to help each other. If, she pointed at the metal figure, you've got more tail-made treasures like that. Nobody wants to die here, he said. Everyone's trying to escape. What does the fox have to do with it? Think. What do you need to escape? A door? Money and a door? I know a place where we can make some coin off that fox, and anything else you might have picked up. How's this? I get 40% for taking you there, and making the introduction, and for giving you the idea in the first place. Is your buyer in the hinterland? She smiled, relaxed, but with a hint of that shark beneath it. My buyer is not. Meaning you can get us out of here. You know a safe way out, a guaranteed way. I do. You get 30%. Finch took the red bottle and drank it. The liquid inside tasted like rum made out of electrocuted sugarcane, and I get to bring 2 people out with me. Elanthe pulled out a pocket watch on a long chain, and consulted its face. From where Finch sat, it looked completely blank. 40%, and I can personally guarantee the safe passage out of your 2 people, but they can't come with us. Her hand, when Finch took it, felt rough and solid, the hand of a woman who'd navigated alien waters in search of tales to tell. She held his fast. Meet me here tomorrow at sunrise. Bring your 2 friends and anything you've got to sell, and say your goodbyes. It'll be the last time you see any of this place. And that's the end of chapter 16. Dang. So, Ellery met a new friend with a really weird name. Elanthe? Okay, interesting. She's described her ice-haired prettiness. Ice-haired. So, like, maybe she's, like, platinum blonde or something? Or, like, white. Maybe she has white hair. Very interesting. Shallow bowls of her clavicle, so she's really tiny. Really, really skinny. I love that. It's a good description. Ice-haired. Very interesting. So she wants to sell items that are from the fairy tales so they can make money? I guess he's just going to go along with it. You know what? Let me hydrate really quick before we get into chapter 17. Thank you for the hydrate. Oh, Vlad! Oh, Vlad, I see you. And Mado. And Soda. Oh my gosh, thank you guys. And Jared, how are you? I hope you guys are doing good tonight. Hydrate on me? Alright, got it. Gosh, water is good. Okay. Everyone is appearing. Yes. Everyone be appearing indeed. Thank you guys for lurking with me. I need to grab water. 1 sec. Okay. Yeah, make sure you guys are hydrated. Okay. Chapter 17. A 24-hour diner held down a corner 2 blocks from the apartment, serving bottomless drip coffee and cheap breakfast combos to construction workers and old people in jogging suits. I knew Sophia would be late. So I skimmed a few chapters of The Changeling while I waited, and when she finally showed, she looked small. The larger-than-life outline of her rubbed down. She still wore the dress she'd had on at the party, the fabric so dark I couldn't tell if it had bloodstains. "Trip," she said, falling into the seat across from me. It was her nickname for me. Alice 3 times. Triple. Trip. And I always felt a blend of affection and irritation when she used it. When the waitress came, Sophia revived a little, ordered chocolate chip waffles and mushroom omelets and Canadian bacon for the both of us. I could already see her calculating how to get away without paying the bill. "We are paying for this breakfast." She winked, but it was half-hearted. "Is it breakfast if the sun's not up?" The food came, and it looked to me like pieces of a plastic playset. I watched the chipped glitter of her nails around fork and knife, too up in my head to swallow more than my milky coffee. What was Finch doing right now? Where was he doing it? Outsized possibilities played across my eyelids. Sometimes the image of you hits me so hard and sudden, I believe the only explanation is you're thinking of me at that exact moment, too. God, it's so romantic. That's not in the book. That's just me reacting. Okay. "Hey." My focus snapped, breath drawn in like I'd been caught at something. There were half moons in her lip when she'd bitten it. The skin around her eyes was blue paper. "You've got me here. Why aren't you talking?" Jesus, Sophia. The words slipped out sideways as I focused, really focused on her face. "You look like shit." "Back at you. Sorry, I wished you could sleep." "Don't. I don't even remember how it feels." I was raw, eroded down to skin and nerve. My eyes filled before I could check myself. "Oh, Soph, what do you do all night?" "You know, I've known you a while now, and this is the first time you've ever asked me that." She said it without judgment, but it still felt like a cut. "I'm sorry." "Does that help me?" She sighed, put down her fork. "It's harder now, with the hinterland gone. It feels harder. This world is so dim. I can hardly see. Sometimes, when I look at people, their death is all I can see." "You've never told me how I'm gonna die." Saying the words felt like passing my fingers through flame, daring it to burn me. "Do you know? Can you see it? Ask me instead if I can see your life." "Can you?" "Yes." Her golden eyes held mine. It's the color of oil, black, until you look close, and then it's every color. Sometimes it looks so dark, and sometimes it looks like a pearl. "Can you see everyone's life and death? All the hinterlanders?" She tensed. "Are you asking about the murderers? If I knew?" "Not because I'm blaming you, not because I think it was your fault." "Of course it wasn't my fault. Was it yours?" She asked the question so lightly. "It'll be okay if it is," her voice said. "I'll like you anyway." I squared up and looked at her, hands resting on the table. "I've got nothing to do with this." After a moment, she nodded and returned to her waffle. "I've got proof, if you want it," I went on. "Someone tried to kill me, too, a couple of nights ago on the subway." "It's weird more people don't die on the subway," she said equably. Then, "Wait, are you serious?" I pointed at my chin, scabbing over, and then I told her everything, right up through my conversation with Daphne in her hotel room. "So it is one of us," she said. "I figured. Shit. What if it's Robin? He loves rhymes, all that high fairy tale formality, and he's mad as a hatter besides." "Right, but can Robin freeze people alive?" "Oh yeah, damn. It would have made him so much more interesting." She shuddered, her expression bright. I felt perversely pleased that I'd thralled her with this story of my own near death. "So I'm right? They did all die that way. Like Genevieve?" That's what I heard. And you didn't think to tell me? I didn't hear about any of it until after Hansa died. And then you showed up at a meeting out of nowhere, and I wondered. I guess I was waiting, maybe, to see if you had something to tell me. You really thought, I sighed, laying my head back against the seat. If you thought I did it, they must all be thinking it. Some of them, maybe. I remembered Robin, all the shuttered faces at the wake, that whisper in the bloody bathroom, Alice 3 times. Some of them, definitely. Let me take care of it, she said. I'll tell them it wasn't you. They'll believe it, coming from me. I swallowed it down, that little stab of non-belonging. I'd chosen to walk away. Who else could it be? Can anyone else do what I can do? Does anyone else have a reason to want, body parts? She gestured dismissively with her fork. Fairy tale something something, you know how it goes. Right, exactly. It's like something in a fairy tale. This isn't just violent, it's specific. There's got to be, some ice king who used to collect his wife's ankles running around the city. Their ankles? She ran a finger through a comet scatter of spilled sugar crystals. What the fuck would you do with a bunch of ankles? I don't know, I said impatiently. But I can't go home until I figure it out. Till you figure out, not the fucking ankles. I wiped a hand over my mouth, frustration rising. Did you not see what I saw tonight? Are you not scared? Scared? She said it thoughtfully, like it was a word she was looking up in a dictionary. To die, you mean? No, I'm not scared. Well, it's different for you. You can't, die. Yes, I do know, she said dryly. I thought about Finch. Somewhere far away, remembering a better version of me. Ella on the couch, dreaming of a land of red rocks, where we could see the whole curve of the galaxy from our backyard. You told me, I said carefully, that I should be sure. Don't, she said swiftly. Soph, I can't even go home. Someone tried to kill me. They might try it again, and I always hurt her. My mother, again and again. I never meant it, but what does that matter? After this, after I figure this out, I think I've got to go. For real this time. Leave the hinterland behind. She nodded, and for a moment I thought she understood. Then her lip curled back like a cat's. Do you really think that's how it works? The hinterland was never a place. It was always us. Wherever you go, that is the hinterland. Hearing my fears spoken aloud made my anger rise. I grew up here. I spent my whole life here. I was raised here. How many lives did you spend in the hinterland? How many dozens? You think you're special just because somebody freed you from the world and loves you? That's not how it works. That's exactly how it works, I spat. That's the point of this whole goddamn world. It's not our world. It's not yours. A waitress came by with a coffee carafe, looked at us, pitching towards each other over the tabletop, and then kept walking. You said I had a choice, I hissed. You said I was the only one who did. That's right. And you made it. I almost killed a man. Here, where it counts. I saw a dead girl in a bathtub, her body frozen, mutilated. I almost got killed myself. Don't you care that I could have died? I thought you were my friend. Her hand shot out and gripped my wrist. I am your friend. Your fucking friend. Your only friend. You ungrateful ass. I tried to pull away, but she squeezed tighter, the bones of my wrist bowing like saplings. You asked me what I do at night. Ask yourself what all of us do. Daphne and Robin and Jenny and the rest of us. Do you think we sit around wondering who we are, how to live, go to funny little part-time jobs like you? Do you really think we don't use what you've got to live the best we can live? and have fun however we want to have fun because we can. We don't have mothers waiting at home for us making us fucking tea. We don't have years and years of life in this place behind us and a future ahead. She leaned close to me, as close as she could get across the table. Her empty eyes were fathomless, nothing and nothing and nothing, all the way down. I'm not getting any older. Death will never come for me. Instead, I'll just rot. I can feel the rot coming. It'll start here. She pointed at her forehead, at her heart. I'll go black and green. I've got nothing in my life but time, and I still don't have time for this. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Poor me. How come, with more than any of the rest of us have got, you always make out like you've got so much less? When I said nothing, she fell back in disgust. She plucked the untouched waffle off my plate and slid out of the booth. Thanks for breakfast. I watched her go. I couldn't move, couldn't think of what to say. I sat there in the grainy diner light, breathing in the smell of hash browns and coffee and hot batter, thinking of the day I learned her tale, the day I learned she was deathless. We were lying in Prospect Park, in the shifting shade of a black gum tree. It was one of those endless late fall afternoons, breezes mixing cool and cold, everything you could see stuck on the bright edge of dying. And I was happy, really uncomplicatedly happy, watching the hours drift by with my friend, my first real friend, who wasn't Finch or some kid briefly foistering on by coincidence. Same apartment complex, same lunch period, same need for protective social cover. I felt settled in my skin. Dogs and strollers, she was saying. Dating people you met on a phone. Coupons. She was naming earthly shit that didn't make sense to make me laugh. After about the 20th thing, vending machine hamburgers, why? She fell quiet a while, long enough that I thought she was asleep. And then she spoke. I want to tell you something. Her voice was so serious I started to sit up. No, just let me say it like this. I lay back down. I listened to her fingers stripping fallen leaves, the wind imitating the ocean. I want to tell you my tale of the time when I was called Ilsa, and the night I fell in love with death. I looked straight up into the trees' skittish leaves and the pieces of hard sky between them, and I listened. And that's the end of chapter 17. So it looks like chapter 18 is Ilsa's tale. How Ilsa met death. So this will be the third time that we've heard this tale, and each time we've heard it, it's been told from a different point of view. And I think that's pretty fascinating. Okay, let me get some water and then we'll roll into chapter 18. I wonder which point of view we're going to get next. It looks like from this first sentence of the next chapter, it's going to be Ilsa telling it from Ilsa's point of view, which is a point of view we haven't gotten yet. I think the first time we saw this story, Finch was telling it to us from memory, so there was a lot missing. The second time we heard the story was the official fairy tale written in Tales from the Hinterland, which was the last book that we read. And then this time it'll be read or told from her point of view, from the main character's point of view. That's really fascinating. I love that I get to experience this book with you guys. Okay. Chapter 18. I was a girl born for bad luck. That's what they told me in the village where I grew up. Full of hard old men and harder women, and winters so lean you could see your bones through your skin by the end of them. I don't know how it is for you, but I have memories of my tale from above and below. Do you know what I mean? I remember all the parts of it that the spinner spun. My brothers dying one by one, my father long gone, my mother growing old in front of my eyes, old before she was 30. I remember everything that came after. But I remember other things too. Little ones, things the tale couldn't have had any use for, like shooting a rabbit right through the eye on my very first go. I wasn't even aiming for it. I'd never have gotten within a mile if I'd tried. I cried and cried. One of my brothers painted pretty things for me, made a little doll I liked to carry around by its seed pole head. That can't have been in your grandmother's storybook, could it? That's not important, though. What I meant to tell you about is Death. He is a wily fucker, slippery as oil, and he's been taunting me since I was old enough to know it. I caught him when I was small. I shouldn't have seen him. Only the dying ever do, and he was there for my father, not me. But I saw him, all right, and he knew it, and slipped away like a backdoor man. 6 times after that he came for my family, for all my 6 brothers, one by one, but he never had the nerve to let me see his face again. There were tricks you could use to catch him, to delay him, confuse him, turn him away. Water and earth, copper and heartwood, I tried them all, but nothing worked. I grew up trying to catch Death, but Death never turned around and caught me. He let me get grown enough to marry, old enough to try to have my own family, to make more of the living I could fight Death to keep. But then the boy I meant to marry got sick, and I knew Death was on his way. That wicked old wolf. That's what my mother used to call him. But I'd seen him, and she hadn't, and she got it wrong. He had skin the color of chestnuts dug out of the coals, and eyes like the shine of sun on rain when they both come at once, or like a cat's eyes when you look at them from the side, that clear kind of silver. Eyes that see everything, and skin so fine you don't feel it until you're already bleeding. By then, I'd decided he would not take another thing from me. I grew up with nothing 6 brothers hadn't gotten to first. I had to scrap with starving boys just to get my share. I wasn't about to let that pale-eyed bastard take my husband before I could even marry him. I came to my betrothed's sickbed with offerings, the soul of a songbird, songs to scatter ashes by. Then I crushed the offerings under my foot, because fuck Death. He can be killed, just like any man, and I'd be the one to do it if it came to that. And he showed. He came for the boy I loved, and I was there waiting for him. I was ready to die, just to show him I meant it, just to prove you can't take absolutely everything from a girl who's got nothing. But what he took was my hand, in his. When he did it, I forgot every little thing. The boy on the bed, the smell of sickness, my dead father and stolen brothers, and my skin all sticky with sparrow's blood. Death walked me right through the wall of the sick room and into another part of the world, a palace where a king lay dying. I watched him take the king's life. It took the form of a little colored light. You could just look at it and know what kind of man he'd been, what kind of king. We traveled all over the hinterland that night, taking lives. I saw how heavily they weighed on Death, how he wasn't a master, but a servant. And I guess I fell a little in love with him, with his life, the freedom, the duty. I was different by morning. When Death dropped me back home, back into my tight fist of a life, he told me the boy I loved would live, that his life was a gift to me, for serving a night as Death's companion, like showing someone the entire sea and then giving them a thimble of salt to remember it by. After that night, I forgot the boy I loved. Tom, his name was, but I made myself forget that name. I waited for Death to return to me. I followed sickness like a plague wagon and waited for accidents. You never had to wait long in our village, but Death stayed away. He passed over our village for an entire season. I figured out then that he was as stubborn as I am, and I'd have to go find him myself. By then, I knew I didn't really love him, but I needed him to know he couldn't do what he did. You can't tease a girl with the whole world and then think she isn't going to come after you for another taste. I thought I'd set a trap for him. I'd bait the trap with one of the things he carried, and that canteen around his neck. All the little lives he peeled away, all those colorless lights. It was an accident the first time. I killed someone who was trying to kill me. Not that I'm making excuses for it. I won't make excuses for any of it. When this man's shitty little flicker of life didn't draw Death in, I thought I'd try again. And again. I'd make myself Death's rival. If he wouldn't take me as his companion, I killed the worst kinds of folks at first. And then I stopped worrying so much. I'd kill anyone who struck me wrong, whose face I didn't like. Without meaning to, Death had taught me the trick of it. A person's life hides in their face, right there in plain sight. You can reach in and grab it if you've been taught how. I'd watched him all that night. I was a quick study. Before him, I couldn't even see their life lights. After, I couldn't look away. They told you everything, who they'd been and would be, if they deserved what I was doing to them, if they didn't. Death got wind of what I was doing eventually. I bet it made him mad. I still like to think about that, even though, I'm warning you now, this story doesn't end so well for me. It wasn't all that bad. I saw all the corners of the world. I saw its shores and its mountains and its valleys and every tower, but I knew it through the creatures that lived it, most of them as miserable as I was, and I never managed to just settle. Live another kind of life. I guess I couldn't have, not while the spinner was watching, but like I said, I'm not making any excuses. Then, there was the night I met a little old man who made me an offer so good I should have known the only thing to do was bury him and his offer at the bottom of the hinterland sea. But I was desperate. By then, I had a canteen full of stolen lives, and the weight of them was killing me. Sometimes I wished they'd finished the job. The old man showed me a way to enter the land of death. He gave me something to drink, something that turned the world's colors to gray, till all I could see, against all that fog, nothing, was a length of golden thread. Right there, at my fingertips. I pulled myself along it, hand over hand. I followed it through water, right down into the land of death. I walked through his cold mineral forests, past lakes of frozen fire. The lives around my neck were whispering to me, as if they knew death was close and thought he'd give them peace at last. I walked into his ugly palace unafraid. Well, okay, a little afraid. It was a trap, of course. Everyone I'd ever killed was waiting for me in Death's Hall. I thought they were there to kill me, too. When I saw the way Death looked at me, like I was nothing, like the life I'd turned over to find him meant nothing. I think I wanted them to. But Death wanted to set the price I'd pay. He wouldn't let them kill me. Instead, he took something from me. Something so small you never think you'd miss it. The thing that hides behind your lifelight. He took my death. Perfect punishment, right? Who knew? Death was a poet. Life is all that's left to me now. Much good it does me. That's the end of chapter 18. Oh, welcome back, Computer Geek. Welcome. Congratulations on the cheese. Oh, yeah, that's Elsa's story. That really does put a little tiny bow on it. She's like, I remember all these extra details. She really was in love with death. And it doesn't surprise me at all that Death is a poet. Okay, let's barrel right into chapter 19. I sat alone in an all-night diner. No idea where to go next. I read the rest of my book. I ordered toast and ate it. After Sophia's picked-over feast had been cleared away, I drank my coffee. It'd have to do me for sleep. When I couldn't put off leaving any longer, I stood, dropping a tip big enough to cover the hours I'd spent squatting. Outside, the air was a soft blue-gray, and the birds were testing their voices. I let my fingers close around my pocket knife as I watched a few cars go by. A man on a bike with a radio latched to its handlebars, scattering timpani. A woman in a cleaner's uniform, shouldering a heavy purse. In a bus shelter across the street, a little girl in a hooded sweatshirt leaned against the dirty plastic, looking down at her feet. I watched her a while, but she never looked up. And all the time, I was worrying at a riddle. Where do you go when you have nowhere to go? If you're Hinterland, you go to the Hell Hotel. Maybe it was a bad idea to get any closer to Daphne and our bloody-fingered brethren right then, but I had the thought that it would be better to embed myself among them than to always wonder where they were. Or maybe I was just out of ideas and incredibly tired. This time, the lobby was empty. Nobody sat behind the desk or came when I rang the bell. I waited, impatient, the duffel bag I'd stuffed the night before slung over my shoulder. There was a board of keys hanging behind the bellhop's desk. More keys than empty spaces. When nobody showed after a few minutes, I chose the first 3 digits of Ella's phone number, room 549, and headed to the 5th floor. If I'd stayed in this room when I was 8, just after reading A Little Princess, I might have loved it. It felt much higher than it was, like a garret tucked away into the eaves, or a pigeon's nest. Decades of smoke had baked the walls as yellow as teeth, and a single painting hung on them like a poppy seed. A tiny, intense portrait of a mermaid sunning herself, her hair layered on with a paint knife. There was a tuft chair in a dresser, and a desk with a Bible in it, half hidden under an age-stiffened issue of TV Guide. The bed was lumpy, the bathroom not to be spoken of. I made a mental note to pick up a Clorox wipe. I set my toothpaste and face wash next to the sink and drank a mug full of water. There was no reason for it to taste different here than at home, but it did. When I couldn't think of anything else to do, I lay down and looked out the window. From my bed, I could see the gray face of the apartment building across the street and a sliver of sky. Somewhere, someone was listening to music. You couldn't tell from which direction the bass was sneaking in. I had to work later, I remembered dimly, though it was hard to believe any part of my life might remain the same. I felt much farther than a few miles from home. I drifted off around 8 a.m. and woke up gasping. I'd been dreaming something. It had the deep water texture of a hotel dream, anonymous and heavy. Inside it, someone had been speaking to me. I could feel their words inside my ears, but I couldn't recall them. Before I left Brooklyn, I'd sent Ella a text to confirm I was alive, and then I turned off my phone. When I turned it on to check the time, it jittered with notifications. I didn't want to read. I looked up the nearest reputable hotel on Google Maps and texted her a link. Here's where I'm staying, just for a little while. I'm safe and I'm sorry and I love you. Seconds after I sent it, the phone began to ring. I held it to my chest, letting it vibrate through my sternum. After it stopped, a text came through. Come home. I turned it off again. It was already past 3, and I had to be at work in an hour. I headed down to the lobby, figuring I'd find somewhere to eat before heading to the bookstore. Felix was back behind the desk. When he saw me, he beckoned me over. Hey, I said. I should tell you. I took a room 549. His eyes were flat. They gave nothing away. Oh, yeah, you weren't here, so It's not a problem. Daphne told me you were coming. I frowned. I'd decided that morning to come here. I hadn't told anyone, not even Sophia. Daphne said I was coming, are you sure? He was writing my name and room number in a red leather-covered book, pretending he was too busy to hear me. Check your mailbox, by the way. It looks like you've got something. My hand was on his arm before I knew what I was doing, grabbing up a fistful of sleeve. I've got a letter? Whip quick, he peeled my hand away. Watch yourself, Ice Queen, he growled. The thing that sparked in his eyes might have been anger, or it might have been fear. He jerked his chin towards the elevator. Mail's that way. An archway to the left of the elevator opened onto a corridor lit by a single orange-shaded bulb, honeycombed on either side with wooden mailboxes. I traced my way to box 549. Inside it was a heavy iron envelope, unaddressed. I teased out the trifold page and read it standing up. Dear Alice, it's hard not to think of these letters like I'm writing in a diary when I don't know if you're reading them, or if they're really just for me. I had a therapist once who made me keep a diary, except she wanted me to bring it in each week and read it to her. So mainly I just used it to write Dragon Age fanfic. I won't do that to you. Instead, I'll tell you a thing I can't stop thinking about. When I was little, my mom used to make me pray, and I'd always pray for magic to be real. And when I wished on stars or at 11:11 or blew out on a dandelion, I'd say it in my head, let magic be real. But ever since I found out it's very, very real, I don't wish it anymore. I don't pray. I want things, but I don't wish them. I don't know what to think about that. I don't know that I really have a point. I'm just thinking about it because the world keeps getting bigger, so much bigger than I thought it could ever be when I was wishing. I'm using world as a euphemism, of course. I just realized I've seen almost as many worlds now as I've seen states in the U.S. My dad would hate that. He always acted like life ended outside of New York. I've thought about writing to him, too, but I wouldn't know where to begin. It's better writing to you. I like pretending I'm talking to you. I like imagining you making your don't waste my time face when I do it. That was a good face. Generally speaking, you've got a good face. And now I'm just rambling. Maybe I should tell you more about where I am, why I am, what I'm doing. I left the hinterland. Did I tell you that? It's hard to remember what I've written and what I've just thought about. I'm talking to you all the time in my head now. When I go to sleep and when I wake up. Days run together, but I guess it's been a couple of months since you left. In my head, you're in New York now, and it's May, and you're sitting in Washington Square Park, eating a paella from a cart, and you're wearing what you were wearing that time I saw you in Central Park. Those jeans with the holes in the knees and that striped shirt. You're using my letter as bookmarks. I want you to know that, all promises aside, I'm going to write to you again. It took me a while to see anything but the letter, and hear anything but my own breathing. A couple of months. As the days counted down on my side of the divide, just 2 months had passed in the hinterland. Finch was seeing me through the haze of 60 days, while out here nearly 2 years had gone by. I hid a while in the cool of the corridor, hearing the words in his voice, unsure if I was even remembering it right. How did the magic work? How? Could I write back to him somehow? I turned the letter over and dug a pen out of my bag, pressing the page against a bare patch of wall. What would I say if I was sure he would read it? I forgive you? Do you forgive me? I talk to you all the time in my head, too. Maybe I'd pick up somewhere in the middle, where we'd left off. He'd always done more of the talking. It was a minefield for me making conversation. I'd spent too much time with people who forgave me my conventional sins. Ella, who loved me anyway. Sophia, living by the arcane rulers of the other world. Edgar, who was deeply eccentric. He wouldn't know inappropriate if it jumped out of a first edition and bit him. Finch was different. We'd wanted things from each other. We'd been using each other. He seemed stable enough to steal me when Ella's disappearance left me entirely alone, and I thought I was trespassing on his kindness, his curiosity, and, yeah, his crush. But the terrain between us was more complicated than that. When I learned he'd been using me for my magic, for my proximity to magic, my ability to pull him into the whirlpool of Althea's worlds, which looked a whole lot prettier from the outside, I might have shut the door on him. But he put himself in the way of the wrong kind of enchantment and got himself killed, or so I thought. Instead, he recovered somewhere, somehow, and dragged me, kicking and screaming and scratching, if I remember it right, from my tail. I'd barely had time to thank him. I'd barely had time to let the new shape of him impose itself over the old one in my head. The Finch I carried around with me was somewhere between the narrow, restless prep school kid I'd known and the scarred, strong, steady-eyed man I'd only glimpsed once. That version of him had looked so grown, so complete, but I bet he was just wearing another kind of armor. Here's what I would write to him, if I knew how to deliver the letter. I always knew magic was real. It might be cheating to say that now, but I really think I did. I just didn't call it that. I didn't think it could be benevolent, except in books. Magic was a bully that made my mom cry and follow us at night. In the daytime, too. It was the thing in me that made it hard to get calm again once I got angry. One time, I counted it up, and I'm pretty sure I've seen 31 states. Some places I've only seen their gas stations, and some places that's all there is to see. I wrote fan fiction too. If you find me, I'll let you read it. I'll tell you what I wrote it about. If you find me, I'll tell you whatever you want to know. That's the end of chapter 19. Oh my, thank you guys for the follows. Thank you. Jackal! My bit continues to be stolen. Can't have shit in the gas stream. What bit? What? Hello. And hi, Husker. Thank you so much. Welcome to the afterlife, friend. Lovely to see you tonight. Oh my gosh. And Femboy, hello. I love your name. Welcome, welcome. Oh my goodness, you guys. I did not know that this was going to be a love story. Like, between you and me, I didn't know there was going to be romance in this story. I kind of thought Ellery was gone. I kind of thought Alice was going to, like, move on from him, but I guess that's what this book is about. Howdy, Miss Castle. How's the day treated you? The day was so good today, Jackal. It's so good to see you. My day was great. I had a great time today. I hung out with Cherry earlier in the day, and we drank a lot of espresso martinis, and it was a great time. Had a lot of fun. Ate a lot of good food. I guess I should hydrate really quick before I get into chapter 20, huh? These chapters tonight, chat, are going by really fast, I feel. It's only been an hour and a half, and we've already flown through 5 chapters. Making lots of headway today. Good. I'm happy you had a great time. I just got home from work. I've been up since 5. Oh my. Well, I'm glad that you're home from work now. Jackal, put your feet up and relax, okay? You've worked really hard today. Yeah. Book chapter's flying by. Okay. Let's get started with chapter 20. Chapter 20. Janet. I plan on a little nap. Don't you worry your cute little face. Chapter 20. Janet wanted to meet Ilanthi first. Ingrid didn't want to go at all. She wasn't like Janet, a transplant, a born wanderer. Her roots here went all the way down to the world's bedrock, even if that bedrock was turning to smoke. We don't know where the door to the tavern goes, Finch said lightly, but the fact that it smells like everything you want to get home to is a pretty big tip-off. It's dangerous, right? Yes, thank you. I've read my share of fairy tales, Janet snapped. And while we're on the subject of devil's deals, who exactly is this person that popped in out of nowhere, ready to save our lives? A traveler, Finch said, though he knew that was oversimplifying things. She wants money, and she thinks I can help her with that. A traveler? Listen to him. Do you know what you're talking about? Do you think we're playing a game? Janet's chill had frayed along with the hinterland, for the first time since Finch feared he wouldn't be able to convince her that she wouldn't come at all. The door in the tavern feels wrong, he half shouted. He hadn't fully admitted it before, but it did. It had a furtive feeling, an oiliness. Even the round, hobbity cuteness of it felt like a vicious joke. So our options are these, he said, speaking low again, calmly. We stay, hope the spinner fixes things, or we take our chances tomorrow morning and go, because none of us is walking through that door. Finch didn't sleep much that night. None of them did. He heard the burr of Janet and Ingrid's voice through the wall hours past dark. They would decide without him whether to stay or go. All he could do was wait and see. His tiny store of belongings was packed, and all the scrutable treasures of the hinterland. There wasn't anything more he could do. Finally, restlessness sent him outside. Night was tipping softly into day when the front door creaked open behind him. Janet was always after Ingrid to fix that creak. She settled beside him, already dressed in her jeans and open-neck shirt, her trim-cut coat, relics of the earthly life she'd abandoned decades ago. Traveling clothes. The fearful grip on his heart eased away. They sat together while the light went blue, then violet, then the powdered silver of pine needles. The hinterland and its restless beauty stopped for no one. Just before sunrise, the three of them walked together across the woman's land. Ingrid unlatched the gate on the goat pen and bent over to pick a teacup-shaped flower. She tucked it into Janet's hair. Their path to the tavern was circuitous now, winding around great starry gaps in the land. Iolanthe was standing out front in her black on black, including a cloak with copper stitching at the neck, running a thumb over the empty face of a pocket watch. First, she made Finch show her all the things he'd taken from the broken tales. Good Christ, Janet murmured as he did it. That's quite the arsenal. Iolanthe's eyes were alight as she ran her hands over all the little treasures he'd plucked from the hinterland's wounds. It filled him with pride to see her lift one, and then another, holding a walnut to her ear and shaking it, weighing the balance of a speckled yellow egg. Then she picked up the dagger. "Hello," she said. "You're going to make this a whole lot easier." It was an age-stained thing of yellowing bone. Finch had taken from a pretty 3-story manor house in the town where Hansa had lived. Words ran over its hilt, carved in a language he couldn't read. Iolanthe shrugged an arm free from her cloak and then paused. "Almost forgot. I made you a promise." From an... Oh my gosh, the pages are stuck together. From an inside pocket, she brought out 2 small booklets. They were bound in the same shade of green leather as Tales from the Hinterland. The print across the embossed in the same gold. Passport, their covers read, above the unmistakable shape of hinterland flowers. Alice, Finch thought. She'd had that flower tattooed on her arm. The memory was sharp as an embroidery needle. Janet practically snatched the passports. Finch could see her hungry mind clicking away. How do they work? The door, Iolanthe pointed towards the tavern. Keep them against your skin as you walk through it, and you'll get to where you're going. I'd hold hands if I were you. Tightly. And if you walk through the door without a passport? Ingrid asked grimly. What happens to you then? Hard to say, Iolanthe said, but I wouldn't trust it. Would you? What about Ellery? Janet put an arm around him. Can you guarantee he'll be safe? No. Iolanthe smiled. But I can guarantee he'll be interested. Good enough. Janet looked at her coolly and then turned to him. She touched a new cut under his eye and a healing one below his lip. Gently, she cupped his chin, looking at the scarred over line on his throat. This is what you want? She said it without inflection, not a question. Finch had gotten used to not looking at what he wanted head on. He'd learned the dreadful lesson of being careful what you wished for, and had taken pains since then to not wish for too much. Nothing more ambiguous than to save one girl, and to dismantle, as it turned out, one entire world. I want to see what's next. They felt like the safest words he could say. He felt Iolanthe's eyes on him, and refused to be embarrassed. He brought his arm around Janet, and then held the other one out to bring Ingrid in. It was okay. to leave the hinterland if they weren't in it. If another world waited for him and Alice was free, and he'd drunk so deeply already of this place's ordinary and chaotic magic, he could go. He could let go. And if he left, part of him whispered, the spinner couldn't follow. He'd be free at last of the fear that held him by the neck, the sense that her revenge, when it came, would take him out at the knees. Walk through the right doors, Janet told him, and perhaps a few wrong ones. She tilted her head and ran her thumb tips under his eyes. And when we see each other again, heaven knows where, you can tell me everything. And if this young woman is to be trusted, we can thank you both for our lives. Ilanthe's forearm was already bared. She held the bone knife in her left hand, loose and easy, tossed it a bit to get a better grip. With a motion like she was mincing garlic, she made 3 cuts just above her elbow. Janet breathed hard, her teeth in Ingrid. Janet breathed hard through her teeth, and Ingrid stepped back, muttering. The cuts welled and spilled, running red over Ilanthe's sun-browned skin. She stepped closer to the tavern wall and, using her finger as a brush, painted a line of blood in the space between 2 timbers. Stop staring, she said after a minute. It doesn't help. The lines she drew were faint. The blood stretched as thin as it could go without breaking. It wasn't till the line climbed over her head that Finch understood what she was doing. She was drawing a door. The bone dagger, the blood door. Finch knew this story. He read it in Tales from the Hinterland. If Ilanthe was weakened, the only sign of it was the way she caught herself briefly against the wall before pulling a square of fabric from her bag. Tie this around my arm, Finch did, wincing as he drew the ends together tight. Now, Ilanthe looked close at the dagger, at the words running over its handle, and then read them aloud. Their syllables were bright and distant. They swooped and dove like seabirds lingering on the air before drifting away. The blood on the wall shifted like a shadow, becoming the seams of a real door. Through those seams, a gray light glowed. Ilanthe drew her head up and shook out her cloak and looked, for a moment, very solemn. Are you ready? Well-timed thunder. And that's the end of chapter 20. Oh, thank you guys for the follows. Welcome to the Afterlives, new friends. Oh, and to hydrate. Thank you. Alex. So, Cass, what are your thoughts? They're about to go into the dead world, right? They're about to go through that door. They're drawing the door. The door that wasn't there. I wonder if they're going to come out in a different place. I'm really into the fact that we read all of these fairy tales before we read this book. It gives us, like, so much extra context, you know? Imagine reading this book before you read Tales from the Hinterland. I feel like you would have no idea what's going on. You need to know what the fairy tales are about. I forgot how engaging this story is. Maybe nap isn't in the cards for me. Oh, are you invested, Jackal? You invested in the story? It's really easy to get invested in it. It's good. I am so much. Okay, chat. Let's get into chapter 21. Chapter 21. After my first night's sleep in hell, I woke up too early with a stranger's voice in my ear. A girl's. Stucco rough, but somehow sweet. I could still hear what she'd said. I could almost remember it. And then I woke the rest of the way, and it was gone. I thought about swimming up yesterday from my blackout nap, the feeling I'd had that someone was talking to me, and then and then I wondered. But not too hard, because I had bigger things to wonder about. First, I reread Finch's last letter. I read it twice, and then I pushed it aside because I could lose a whole day to that mystery, and there just wasn't time. I had to figure out who among the hinterland had ice in their hands and a taste for dismemberment. I could hear Sophia's voice in my head. "Look at you, Nancy Drew." She'd never say that. She'd never even heard of Nancy Drew. I guess the voice I heard was really my own. I guess I should call Sophia to talk about last night, and Ella to beg for her forgiveness. I did neither. I decided what I did have to do was learn what had happened with Hansa. She was the only one of the four I felt like I knew, at least a little, and if I was looking for a pattern here, her death seemed the most likely to break it. But the idea of sniffing around her grieving parents once I tracked them down made me feel sick. Even worse was the idea that they might think I'd been the one to kill her. Though Sophia had promised to unsmear my name, I didn't know how long that would take. Who would and wouldn't believe her, and whether she was still up for helping me after last night. When all my thoughts started going into soft focus, I put on a clean shirt and headed out for coffee and food. I walked till I found an open pizza place, and then I ate a big foldable slice of rubbery margarita while searching out caffeine. It was 7:30 by then, commuters bleeding from every subway entrance, 1,000 different faces to get caught on. But the one that hooked me was a little girl's. She wore sunglasses and a hoodie and was sitting on the edge of a gutter punk's blanket, just out of reach of his dog. I couldn't tell whether they were together, but she was paying him no mind. Something about her was so familiar. I stared a minute, trying to place where and when I'd seen her, and then I had it. She'd been waiting at the bus stop across from the diner last night. And the night before that, she'd been in Central Park, watching me from beside the path. "Hey," I said, almost to myself. I started towards her, but didn't make it too far. As soon as I got moving, she vaulted herself off the blanket and flew down the street. "Hey, wait!" I took a few running steps and then stopped. She was already a block away, moving fast as a whippet through the crowd. My heart pounded and my thoughts were sharp. She could run, but I knew who she must be, and I knew where to find her. Not many kids came through from the hinterland. Hansa had been one of them. Creepy Jenny was another, with her baby doll face and those keen little inturned eye teeth. And then there was the trio. In the hinterland, they'd had another name. The Acolytes of the Silver Dagger. The red, the white, and the black. But here, everyone just called them the trio. They weren't little girls exactly. That was just the form they took. It was odd to see one of them alone, but these were odd times. I only knew about them what Sophia had told me. That in the hinterland, they'd answered to their own kind of deity. Here, they'd found their way to the Christian God, though I doubted it was a mutual thing. They hung out at a church in Midtown and tended to show up when they had a message for you. The garbled, pathetic kind. The kind you damned well better heed. I waited a little longer, but the girl didn't come back. And when nothing worse showed either, I headed to where I knew I could find her. Times Square, in the morning, looked oddly clean. Massive video billboards cycled silently overhead, and tourists cluttered on the corners of 44th and Broadway. The place I was looking for was weathered stone with a big rose window, its imposing face half lost behind construction scaffolding. A church, lovely and unlikely, tucked among the anonymous hotels and overpriced diners above the square. The schedule by the entrance said I'd missed first missed first, but when I tried the doors, they opened. Ella never took me to church, and there'd been a time when I was fascinated by them. I couldn't believe they were free, that anyone was allowed to walk into a place that looked so much like a museum or a castle. This one's entrance was cool and hazy, with incense. Beyond it was the great glittering mouth of the church itself, yawning wide to reveal its treasures. Rows of polished pews and the Virgin in her nook, mosaicked arches and filigree screens and wooden carved figures who must have been holy men, but could just as easily have been depictions of the Green Man, the Urkel King, the King of May. Saints glared out through solemn eyes, and stained glass windows cast dim jewels over the ground, and I was starting to see how an ex-story could find solace here, in a building so replete with ancient tales. There were a few tourists here and there, lighting candles or taking sneaky photos, dwarfed by golden marble altarpieces. Nobody who could be the trio, I thought. Slowly, I walked to the front of the room, a faint tock, 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 taking up slow residence in my head. It was the sound, I realized, of heels on wood. Looking over the pews, I saw that they weren't quite empty. 3 heads just peeking over the top of the bench on the left side. The heads were hooded, from left to right, in red, white, and black, and one of them must have been kicking her feet against the pew like a bored kid in church. I was a few rows away when the kicking stopped and the heads clicked on their necks like something out of a camazot, turning in unison to look at me. "Hello," said the child in red. "Alice 3 times," said the child in black. The child in white said nothing, but you could tell she was thinking plenty. She showed her milk teeth in a smile that made me colder than the consecrated stone. I scanned them, trying to figure out which had been following me. The one in red, I thought. She changed her hoodie. "Hi," I said, a little breathless. "I think you have a message for me." Red and black leaned forward to look at each other, and white kept staring. "Well, what is it?" "You can ask us anything you'd like." Red. "Perhaps we'll answer, perhaps not." Black. White said nothing, but the other 2 tilted their heads into her silence and laughed. "Is that the message?" I slid into the pew in front of theirs and turned around, facing them over its back. They had eerie little oatmeal box faces, like an illustrator's idea of how a wholesome child might look, if the illustrator were terrified of wholesome children. Red studied my face. "You're afraid of something." "Isn't everyone?" She smiled, a little meanly. "You have more to be afraid of than they do." "Okay. Does it have something to do with the murders?" "With the deaths, you mean," said Red. Black bowed her head. "We honor their sacrifice." "What sacrifice?" I said. "I'm talking about murder, the 4 hinterlanders who were killed. Great change requires great sacrifice. The tales change their shape, depending on who's doing the telling." I tasted metal. "Don't talk about this in riddles, all right." All 3 held up their left palm, oath-giving style, as Red and Black talked between them. "No riddles. You say it's murder. But we say they chose to die, and knew that what they were dying for. They go on to a great reward in a better world." I seized on Red's words. "A better world? What world is that?" "The world of the kingdom of heaven," she said primarily. Black spoke next. "If they can make it. We do pray for all of you, not just ourselves." Thanks," I said dryly. "So you've thrown the spinner over for God?" "The spinner never spoke to us, but God does." "Oh, yeah? What does God tell you?" Black shrugged. "He moves beneath the green and the gold, the blue and the brown, the red, the white, and the black. He sacrificed a piece of his very self, Just like Genevieve. Just like Hansa. I didn't like to hear the dead's name in their mouths. Murder isn't sacrifice. They didn't want to die. Saying it was a sacrifice implies there's something that they died for. Red turned to Black. Assumes she knows everything, this girl. And knows less than most. Red looked at me. Don't you know the story of Saint Elixa? He cut off pieces of himself to feed the gateway between heaven and earth, to keep it always open for his kind. He cut off pieces until he fell down dead, and his blood became a river. His wife paddled down it to her divine reward. That's not a real story, I said, though I supposed it could be. You never knew with saints. We've nothing more to say to you, child. Child? We've nothing more to say, Red repeated. You've asked your questions, and we answered them. If you won't listen, bother us no more. Let's take her out of our prayer, Black whispered. There was more I wanted to say to that, but a harassed-looking man was hurrying over, Hem trailing behind him. He clapped his hands gently, looking past me. You three cannot be in here. I've already told you, no unattended children in this church. The thing in white piped up then. Her voice was bell-sweet and lightly turned. She looked not at the man, but up, like she was practicing her Joan of Arc. Truly, I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Her voice flattened and her eyes met his. Never, not ever, never ever. Whether it was the scripture or her spooky little face, the man fell back uncertain. Well, that's... Without finishing his thought, he swept off towards the altar. Our advice to you, said Red, turning back towards me, is to listen when your betters speak, said Black. White looked at me, and I held my breath. And to remember, every story is a ghost story, she said. She reached out and pressed one cold little hand to my chest. Its nails were painted ballerina pink. If you're looking for answers, seek out your ghosts. The painted eyes of the saints watched me walking away. The lit candles guttered as I passed. I wondered what would happen if I trailed my fingers through the pool of holy water. I looked back, just before opening the door, at the 3 dark beads of their heads over the pew. 4. For a moment, I thought I saw a 4th head. Then, the door behind me opened, and the sun sliced in, and I blinked, the vision, away. And that's the end of chapter 21. I think that might be my favorite chapter so far. I didn't really expect them to start going into a church, but I guess it does kind of make sense, right? Like, if they're coming from a world where they have a, quote, spinner that created all of their stories, and that is what kind of, like, made them exist. It is kind of interesting how the, I guess they're not really children, but I guess the children of that world would kind of cling to that notion, you know? But there was a line that kind of gave me chills when I read it. Hold on. Where is it? The thing in white piped up. The thing in white. So she's not even like really describing them as if they're human. She's describing them like they're things. Like they're just so creepy that they don't really read as human. As I always say, chat, nothing scarier than a child. Terrifying. Children are terrifying. Okay, I've hydrated. Let's go ahead and move on to 22, huh? So true. That there's nothing scarier than a child. Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I'd say so. Quite terrifying indeed. Um, Need a ghosty pillow for the big eat? Okay, come over here, I'll give you a pillow. Okay, let's see. Yay? You're welcome. Alright, chat. He stole my bit? Oh no. Oh no, not the bits. Okay. Chapter 22. What did Finch think they'd find through the door? A goblin market? The wood between the worlds? An underworld of smoke and fire? Not this. A few rippling, painful seconds spent falling through an icy fog. And then his body tipped into dusty stone, hard through the patched over knees of his jeans. He was certain he was upside down, clinging like a spider until the world righted itself. Ianthe was already standing, swatting the dust away, as Finch rose slowly to his feet. They stood in a cracked courtyard circled with crumbling pillars under a blank gray sky. But courtyard didn't feel like an old enough word. It was an agora, then, vast and ancient and empty. Finch couldn't tell if it was night or day, or whether those words had any meaning here. The pillars were neatly spaced, flanked wide stone roads, each angling steeply towards the broken teeth of the city encircling them. This world was dead. Finch thought he understood what that could mean, having watched the disintegration of the hinterland, but that was a bleeding world, running with life and rage and sentient stars, bucking against the insult of its own collapse. He hadn't understood what death could look like when the corpse was made of stone and wind and dust, and all the millions and millions of elements that sifted and slept the big sleep under a voided-out sky. The weight of it was unimaginable. Ianthe's hand was friendly on his shoulder. Her calm was a lifeline, and the casual lilt of her voice. Scary, isn't it? We can't stay too long without shelter. It gets under your skin out here, in your head. But you look around for a while, if you can. Hardly anyone gets to see a fossil world. Finch found his words at last. What happened here? She was turning in place, looking at each road. Something about the one directly to Finch's right must have appealed to her, and she started towards it. Far, far above them, though it was hard to say how far, because of the place's surreal flatness, stood a palace of high gray towers, edgeless against the sky. A parasite happened, she said. Now follow me and save your breath, it's a long walk. The city seemed distant until suddenly they were in it. Among the falling down slabs of walls and shops and houses, they walked in silence. But inside Finch's head was a rising fire. A building whose windows were great black eyes had on its roof a stone symbol like a thumbless hand, clearly some kind of long-fallen temple. There was a moment when he thought he saw a sign of life, an undulation in his vision, like the flicker of distant light. But Ianthe didn't seem to notice it, and then he wasn't so sure. The towered palace, when they reached it, was surrounded by an expanse of open pavement cracked into gray mosaic. They picked their way across it towards the structure's arched, iron-girded doors. There, Ianthe looked again at the blank face of her pocket watch. She replaced it and pulled a key from her bag. Bronze, ridiculously oversized, straight out of Alice in Wonderland. "Skeleton key," she said. "Who the fuck are you?" Finch replied. She looked at him to see if he was kidding. He was not. "Now, you ask me?" Her face was half in shadow and half in gray light. Trampled in her cloak through this hollowed land, she looked more like the progeny of Prospero than the grungy wanderer he'd pegged her for. "I'm a traveler," she told him. "A survivor. Most of all, I'm the person who got you into this gray fart of a world, and I'm the person who's going to get you out. Good enough?" "For now." "Oh, good. Now stay close. It's going to be dark for a while." She cranked the door open with her outlandish key, and they slipped through. Finch hadn't noticed the unnerving breeze soughing in his ears until they stepped inside and it was gone. Immediately his head felt clearer. Iolanthe slid through the dark. Her cloak had metallic stitching on the back, too. Finch followed its faint radiance through a series of connected rooms like the sections of a centipede, down a long corridor and into the sudden gray light of a window-paneled atrium, where at last the air was filled with the scent of something familiar. Books. The drowsy odor of paper and leather and dust and age, and none of the scents you'd expect, of mildew and water damage, pages gone to rot. They stood in a library. Finch darted ahead. The books climbed up and up, shelves alternating with windows through which he could see scraps of the building's towers. He hadn't seen this many books in one place since before the hinterland. Janet had a yellowing collection she cherished, and the refugees a teeny lending library that boasted the pooling resources of Earth's displaced travelers. Wuthering Heights, Go Tell It on the Mountain, a Turkish translation of A Wrinkle in Time. But that was 50 titles at most. These brimming shelves tugged him in like a moon. He almost didn't hear Iolanthe mild, "Careful," as he pulled down a book. It was gray, as the rest of the room before he touched it, but once it was in his hands, he could see that it was bound in pale blue, embossed front and back, with an intricate spiderweb. Tiny women were caught in its net in various altitudes of peril, arms up, heads thrown back, hands to mouths. They looked like a pack of fey rays. It was creepy enough that he paused before opening it anyway. The print was made up of intensely black, closely clustered characters. Though he couldn't read them, he could feel their inherent narrative thrust. They wanted to be read. They wanted to tell him a story. Staring at the text was like staring at a churned-up water, slowly clearing until he could see what lay on the seabed below. What came into slow focus was a cautionary tale. A tale of silver scissors and red fruit, of green leaves and dark earth, of dangerous and endangered girls. It was, if he had to guess, a fairy tale. He peered into the deep water of the book until he could hear the wheedling bite of the scissors and feel the sweet give of poisoned fruit, and the leaves circling his brow were cool and wet, like they'd been plucked just after a rain. And, hey now, Iolanthe stood over him. The book was in her hands, firmly shut. Finch blinked, trying to remember when he'd gotten to his knees. This isn't the book we're looking for. Finch breathed to steady himself. What was that? What the hell was that? "I had to let you do it once," she said, unapologetic, "so you won't do it again." A card catalog stood between the double helix staircases. She chose a drawer near the bottom, flicking through it for a minute before emerging with a card. The book she wanted was 2 stories up, and she made Finch fetch it. He scurried up, a wet dream of a library ladder, a sturdy wood and metal finishing. His perspective shifted as he climbed, books altering their sizes and heights and sparking with rose flares of colors like optical illusions. "Stop!" Ianthe called when Finch had reached the second landing. The book she directed him towards gained heft and density in his hands, like one of those little Bibles made up of a zillion onion skin pages. He tucked it under an arm and took the staircase down. "What now?" he said, a little breathless. Ianthe had pushed her sleeves back up again. Finch was worried since she'd sliced the other arm. "Now, I show you a less bloody way of walking through a door." "Jesus," Finch breathed. "Are all these books doors?" "A book is always a door." "Sure, yeah, but usually not a literal door. Have you done this before? Have you gone into these books?" An odd look flashed over Ianthe's face, sharp as a sunbeam caught in a hand mirror. "I came out of one of these books." The air in Finch's lungs went fizzy. He suspected she wasn't from Earth, but it was different to hear it confirmed. This girl, with the ice-colored braids and the wanderlust, might have more secrets than he did. Which one? She climbed up a few steps, leaned far over, and struck a finger in the empty space between two books. This one. What happened to it? Her face was still turned away. "It's been checked out." "I'm sorry," Finch said softly. When she didn't respond, he went on. Whose library was this? What was this place? It belonged to a magician, a powerful one. All these books, all these worlds were his? Hers. Only one world is hers. Is? She's still alive. Who is she? Shh. Come here. She walked back down and extended a hand. Finch took it. With her free hand, Ianthe fumbled open the book and began to read. The words weren't the fleet, wild-winged things that opened the blood door out of the hinterland. They were slower, sweeter. They beguiled. Finch wanted to see what happened when the door appeared, but he couldn't keep his lids from closing. "Keep them closed," Ianthe said, her voice wobbling towards Finch's ear like sun through water. Her fingers tightened around his, and the pair of them stepped forward into something that felt like Finch once imagined a cloud would feel, back when he was a little kid looking out the window of an airplane. It was soft and giving, and it smelled like the sweet wood of a cigar box. Then the air cleared and went thin and smoky and cool, and when he opened his eyes, they were standing uneven on a cobblestone street, the cutout square of a doorway hanging in the air behind them. That's the end of chapter 22. Wow, we're just flying through this. We're officially halfway through the book. Officially halfway, chat. Hell yeah, that's so exciting. Okay, more hydration. Hells yeah, I know, right? I wonder if they're going to keep doing that, like every other chapter be about Finch and every other chapter be about Alice. Welcome back, Alex. Nice to see you. Okay. Let's see. Chapter 23. Outside the church, the sun was higher, the heat heavy as a hand. Tourists and commuters in sweat-stained business clothes moved like sleepwalkers. My eyes caught on exposed arms and bellies and feet, the sweat-shining camels flowing between women's clavicles. The glare of it boiled together with incense smoke and the sad-eyed virgins, the candles lit like so many lifelights, and the message the trio had for me. That was the death. Weren't murders, but martyrdom. Martyrdom to what? I backed into a square of shade and called a car, unable to bear the prospect of 20 blocks on a hard sun. or wading through the morning rush in Times Square. A few minutes later, a black sedan pulled up and the driver ducked her head down, looking at me. Sun-dazzled and suddenly starving, I collapsed into the back seat. Maybe martyrdom wasn't the crux of it. I'd almost been killed, and there was nothing I'd been ready to die for. The child in white told me to seek out my ghosts. Maybe that was the real message. But what did it mean? I sighed, craving the solitude of my room, ice water, and a shower. I lay my head against the seat and heard the click of the child locks. I looked up. "What are you—" "Shut up," the driver snarled. "Don't say another word until I say you can. And put your hands up. Cross 'em, up over your shoulders, where I can see 'em." Her face, what I could catch of it in the rearview mirror, had a wicked Morgan Le Fay look to it, fleshy and lush. Her head grazed the top of the car, all of her built on a grand scale. She was Hinterland, of course, but I wasn't panicking yet. No chance she was the Quicksilver thing who'd attacked me on the subway. Mainly, I was kicking myself for getting in the wrong damn car. "Look, what do you want? I told you to be—" "Hey!" She leaned on her horn and shrieked a string of expletives as a tank toppled school of pedestrians bearing Disney store bags darted in front of the car. "It's Midtown," I snapped. "What did you expect?" "Shut up." There was such focused rage in the words that I did go quiet. And when I tried to sneak a hand to my phone, she braked hard, glaring at me, and I pulled my hand back. Traffic was stop and go, past chain stores and Netflix ads and people dressed in unlicensed Anna and Ella costumes, and it all felt so surreal. I didn't really get scared until she veered hard into a parking garage, past the booth, attendantless, and barreled up, around and around in dizzy circles through the dim, taking every corner too tight and making me dig my nails into my skin. Then we burst out into the sunlight, glinting off of chrome fenders and pearlized finishes, so assaultive after the dark I didn't see the man right away. Sitting on the hood of a parked car, holding a dark metal wrench. And it struck me then that I should be armed myself, if I could. Cold, I was thinking dizzily, squeezing my eyes shut and pressing my fingers into my collarbone. Cold, cold. The woman flung open the door and dragged me out by the arm, in a fistful of shirt, throwing me onto the ground. Glittery bits of it dug into the heel of my hands and my bare knees as I pushed up, tried to push to stand. Then she had me again, her hand palming my neck like I was a kitten. She forced me to kneel, and I felt the beginning of it, that burn in my throat, that ice pick ache in my eyes. The man stood in front of me, with his wrench over his shoulder, black boots planted. Him. I recognized. Brown skin, dressed all in green. I'd seen him in meetings before, even heard him talking about his daughter, but it wasn't until now that I put it together. The cresting cold in me guttered and fled. I pressed my palms, placating, to the ground. "You're Hansa's parents, aren't you?" The hands on my neck tightened and jerked, shaking me until my vision snapped with stars. "Listen to me," I gasped. "I didn't do anything. And then she was lifting me, easy as a puppet, hauling up under my armpits, and when I was back on my feet, she moved next to the man, looming over him by a head. He flexed his hands around the wrench, and she held her own hands up like they were weapons, like they were as deadly as mine. I believed it. "Tell me to my face you didn't kill my daughter." I looked straight into her wild blue eyes, ready to deny it, and as they met mine, caught mine, I felt an aqueous click in my brain, a hypnotic tug that reeled me in and sent me tumbling headlong down a cool, blue hallway, the exact color of her eyes. And when she spoke the words again, they came from inside my head. Tell me you didn't kill my daughter. I couldn't look away, couldn't blink, couldn't move anything but my mouth. I didn't kill Hansa. I didn't touch her. Her pause was long, and I was falling. Or maybe I was suspended in an endless tunnel of light. My body felt warm and weightless, sheathed in calm, panic scabbing at its underside. And then a jerk behind my belly button heaved me up and out of that serene blue place, dropping me back onto the rooftop of the Manhattan parking garage, sweat sticky and spitting curses on my hands and knees. What was that? I half screamed. The man looked down at me, impassive, the wrench now at his side. But the woman was even angrier, crouching beside me. If you didn't kill her, who did? Her breath was hot on my face. That's what I'm trying to find out. I'll know if you're lying. Do you want me to find out if you're lying? No. I put up my hands, scrambled backwards. I'm not lying. Whoever did it, they're trying to make it look like it was me. Whoever did it, they're trying to kill me too, I was going to say. But suddenly I wondered, if whoever was doing this was trying to frame me, why would they want to kill me? Which half was I wrong about? Tried to what? She said, pushing her face into mine. They're trying to do something, I said, changing course. Why else would they do what they did? Taking pieces away. Her big, vivid mouth went bloodless. Behind her, the silent man shifted. You're going to find out who did it, she said. It wasn't a question. It was a marching order. And when you find out, you're not going to do anything else about it until you come to me. I made myself look right at her when I spoke. If you do one thing for me first. You think you're in a position to bargain? I just have a question. If you'll answer it, I just want to know. I swallowed, trying to put my suspicions into words that wouldn't enrage her. What was Hansa like at the end? At the end, she glared at me. She was curious, funny, odd, happy. She was a child. I nodded, but I couldn't think how to ask the question I really wanted to answer. Would she have martyred herself? If so, for what? Not at the end, though. The man spoke for the first time. His voice was soft. The woman turned on him, and a little steel went into it. You know it's true. At the end, she was angry. He looked at me. She didn't want to lie about who she was anymore, and what she was. She didn't understand why we had to. I braced myself. Is there any chance she might have chosen this? That it might have been part of something bigger, even if she didn't really understand it? The woman's body was taut as a tiger's. I didn't dare look at her, but the man seemed to be thinking, turning over my words. Our daughter did not want to end, he said carefully. Never, never would she choose that, but it's possible whoever took her life tricked her. That final day next to her body, we found a packed bag. All silly things, cookies and books and coins. I think she thought she'd be traveling. Perhaps she believed dying was the first step of the journey. Death isn't the end in the hinterland. I wish we'd taught her better than that here. He reached into his pocket and I flinched, but what he brought out was a compass. He pressed it into my palm, and then pulled his hand back fast like he wanted to be clear of it. Take it, he said. If you're really trying to find out who did this, use it. It steered Hansa right, till it didn't. Perhaps it will help you. That's the end of chapter 23, chat. Oh, hello. Hello, first-time chat. Nice to see you. Welcome in. I think the goddess of sleep has lulled me to Betty Bye state. I may not be long for this plane of existence. Oh, Jackal, did you fall asleep? How many times do I have to say Casket's name to get her to show up? Probably only once. Probably only once. I'm fighting it too. Really? You guys have only been here for 2 hours and 30 minutes. You guys are already so sleepy for me. It's only 11:30. That's okay, chat. If you guys end up falling asleep, it's totally alright. That's what this stream is for, after all. Huh? I heard my name. Yeah. I was wondering if you had fallen asleep already. Looks like you haven't yet. Be right back, heading to the mirror then? Oh. A little Lamau. Are you guys all super cozy? Are you like curled up in bed right now? I gotta get up early tomorrow. I do too. You guys want me to stream in the morning? Yes? 4 blankets in my chair. I have 2 blankets in my chair and a pillow. I'm so cozy in bed. Aw, I wish I was there. I wish I was cozy in bed too. Oh, Niklas, thank you so much for the follow, friend. Welcome to the afterlife. Lovely to have you here. Chat, if you haven't already, don't forget to claim your daily pieces of fruit, okay? Join me. Yes, I would love to. Please, do you have room for one more? I might be a little cold because I'm a ghost, but maybe you'll keep me warm. I am so cozy. Good. Good, I'm glad. Well, chat, I know you guys are sleepy, but I think I got a couple of more chapters in me. Cute? No. No. Not me. You. Not me, you. Should we start chapter 24? Maybe I should hydrate really quick before we start chapter 24. Very interesting that Hansa's parents were immediately gonna, like, get Alice because they thought it was her. He's squeezing my face. I like when you guys do that redeem when I'm reading because it looks like the hand is, like, coming out of the book. Okay. Ready for chapter 24? Okay. Chapter 24. The door they'd come through clung for a moment to the air. Through it, Finch could see the wary illumination of the last world, turned grayer by the contrast, and then it winked out like a firefly. So I guess that's yes, mama? Ayo? Holy autocorrect. Damn. Yes, mama. My, Jackal. Mama. My goodness. Also, yes, apparently this answers my question. It's going to be every other chapter. Panic? Oh, you don't have anything to panic about. Don't worry, I haven't done anything yet. Okay, let's be serious. Whoa, what? What? Oh, is it because I started using this voice and you guys really like it, right? Okay. He turned, and for a delirious moment, thought they were back in the hinterland. But this place had a shabbier, used kind of feel. Less cozy medieval, more Dickinson. They stood at another crossroads, a 6-cornered intersection of rubby little streets lined with lit windows. The sky was an early evening color, and it was a relief after the dead world to breathe in cooking smells and breezes, and even the murky contents of the standing puddles between cobblestones. Ilanthi, too, breathed like she'd set down a heavy load. Glad to be out of there. You good? Finch nodded wordlessly. He wasn't sure he was. He wasn't sure he was made for traveling like this, barely leaving a footprint in one place before you were off to the next. Scooting them out of the way of traffic, a man on an oddly balanced three-wheeled cycle who ignored them from beneath the brim of his hat. Iolanthe swept off her coat. She folded it into a bundle so impossibly tight it made Finch remember she'd been a sailor, and tucked it into her bag. Over her black jeans, bleach-stained black t-shirt, the exposed black straps of her bra, she pulled on a high-necked black dress. It fell around her heavy hips with a swish. "Camouflage," she said. Finch looked down at his patched-up Frankenstein jeans, the blue Hanes t-shirt he'd worn from Lev's in a particularly intense game of Egyptian rat screw. His shoes were more duct tape than canvas, and his skin was brown, which hadn't signified much along the refugees of the hinterland, but might mean something in a place that looked and smelled like a scene from Great Expectations. "You're fine," she told him. "This place is used to travelers. Think of it like a port city. It's just, they do have certain ideas about ladies here." On ladies, she dropped like a bob into a curtsy that would have been ironic, were it not so deep and perfectly done. "Who the fuck are you?" This time Finch said it in his head. He was biding his time. Now, properly attired for who knew what, Iolanthe led them down the wildest of the roads. Still so narrow, he doubted this was a world built for cars. There was more foot traffic the farther they went, and more shop windows open to the evening, selling food and clothes and tools and toys. Finch searched the faces of the people they passed, but they were a diverse, disinterested crowd, and after a while he paid more attention to the windows. "Don't look too close," Iolanthe said sharply. "They'll make you buy something." "I have exactly $0, Finch said, though it wasn't true. He still had $47 and 38 cents in his wallet, which he was too superstitious to toss. She threw him a look. "They don't want your money." Iolanthe barreled down the street, looking to neither side, afraid of losing her or of invoking some binding buyer's rule of the market. He followed, but things still caught his eye. A window full of small, densely focused paintings of mermaids, and another hung with gossamer weight butterfly nets, handfuls of jeweled insects stuck into their webbing. The blue eyes of a man selling tins of tea. The man was leaning forward, smiling, when Finch ripped himself away. In an alcove between shops, a puppet show played out beneath a dusty curtain. Two jointed wooden puppets clanked over a painted backdrop of a familiar city skyline. The girl puppet had a cap of pale hair, and the boy a cloud of dark. Between them, they held a green book, its title written in tiny gold print. "Wait," Finch said, slowing down, but Iolanthe grabbed his hand and tugged him into the thickening crowd. "If you stop, they'll want you to buy something," she called back. They walked deeper in, past increasingly urgent sellers and their wares, twitching piles of ballet slippers, bumpy fruits, a window full of telephone, candlesticks, rotaries, princess, tablets, that made Finch do a double take before stopping in front of a shop he'd have missed on his own. Its window was frosted glass, firmly closed. Iolanthe rapped on the door beside it, winking conspiratorially at Finch. As if he were in on the joke, as if he had any idea where they were and who they were about to see. He gripped his bag in front of him, packed in the hinterlands less than 24 hours and exactly 2 worlds ago. The woman who opened the door was Baba Yaga, to the life. With eyes like milky jade, straight-up George Washington teeth, and the leathered skin of an aging French film star. She was built like a sparrow, but moved like a battleship, slow and deliberate, with a hand to her back. "You," she said crankily, eyes on Iolanthe. "Back from nobody knows where, dragging I don't know who, selling gods know what. Nervy little bitch." Hello, Grandma June, Ianthe said comfortably. I know I've been away too long and you thought I was dead, and I'm a dreadful child for never bothering to write, but I'm here. Can you forgive me? The woman flapped a dismissive hand. Depends what you've got for me. Come in before you stand still too long and the market thinks it's caught two buyers. Is that really your grandma? Finch muttered. Hell no. Watch your back around here. She'll steal the gold from your teeth if she thinks she can get away with it. The door shut behind them with a sinister snick, and Finch blinked in the abrupt gloom. Though it wasn't really gloom, it was the stained red of a forge, or the inside of a dragon's belly. The place was a curiosity shop, or else a really eccentric thrift store. My goodness. It was full of delicately balanced metal instruments and pieces bristling with exposed circuitry, and the kind of carved wooden objects that looked like they've got a trick to them. A secret compartment, a hidden blade. Well, Grandma June bustled behind a countertop and turned on a lamp, casting a circle of clean white lights over the three of them. What have you got for me? Ianthe presented Finch with a flourish, like she was wiping a drop cloth off a statue. A scavenger, fresh from the hinterland. Hinterland? Scavenger? You're telling me that place is in a state to be scavenged? The old woman rubbed her bristly chin. Serves her right, doesn't it? Well, don't stand there blushing. Show us what you've got. This isn't my first time. Finch stuck a hand into his bag, pulling out the first thing he touched, the spyglass from Hans's cottage, and placed it on an open square of countertop. Grandma June's brusquous air dropped away. Her hand shot out to grab it, and then stalled midway. Carefully, she plucked and lifted it, like her palm was a grocery scale. Well, did I do good or what? Ianthe's eyes crinkled. June ignored her. I've seen the seed before the bloom. I've seen the babe before the bones, but I've never seen one of these. What is it? Finch asked, inching now to snatch it back. He wasn't sure, suddenly, that he wanted to sell. The woman handed it over. Look through it. Finch already had in the hinterland, but now he tried again. Nothing. He executed a slow turn. It's not even magnified. She took it back and touched an invisible catch, and the thing snapped open, revealing a second section. Now look. Finch peered through it dutifully and gasped. He felt like he had the first time he ducked his head under water while snorkeling with his parents in the Seychelles. From the mundane surface to a riotous world of colored fins and scattered lights. Just like that. How am I seeing this? He said. What am I seeing? That's the past, she said, her voice disembodied, floating. You might be looking at yesterday, or a year ago, or 10. Longer, Finch said. He was watching a girl with milk glass eyes, tracking her path through a transformed shop. Brighter, tidier, full of different, unnameable things. She was 14-ish, light as a dragonfly, her skin the color of buckwheat honey. She perched on a cluttered tabletop and then turned. Impossibly, she fixed Finch with her pale green gaze. It sparked like an ice cube down his back, and he dropped the spyglass to the side. Well, June said hungrily, what did you see? A girl. Really, really pretty, with eyes like yours. I think she might have seen me. That was me, she crowed. I thought you looked familiar. I was pretty, wasn't I? Too pretty for anyone's good, least of all my own. One more thing, she said, taking the spyglass back and opening it to reveal a third section. The future. She narrowed her eyes. Look, if you'd like, but keep your findings to yourself. I'm old enough to have a fair guess as to what's next for me. Finch made to take it and then shook his head. I believe you. Clever boy. The spyglass alone is worth plenty on its own, but let's see what else you've got. The next few hours were full of wonders. Ianthe sat cross-legged on the floor, grinning, and the old showed Finch what his treasures could do. She showed him how to prick his finger on the frail golden needle he'd taken from a crumbling tower, and then laughed at his panic as the thing spun around him, weaving a shirt right onto his back. The child's boot was a charm for the health of the child who wore it. If you polished the mirror, it would show you what your true love was looking at right that second. Finch's heart flip-flopped, and he pushed it back without peeking. When Ianthe put out a hand to look into it herself, Grandma June snatched it away. Not you, not here. Ianthe's lips thinned before she made herself laugh. Finch noted the odd exchange, filed it away. The walnut the old woman shook her head at. Unpredictable. There could be a dress of stars inside of it, or a cloak of ashes, or a white cat, or just a walnut. She picked up the silver pen carefully, tapping its point with the ball of her thumb, and then she wrote with it. The words disappeared into the paper, each swallowed up as she wrote the next. She clapped her hands. Oh, this is good. It's a general's pen. A what? She knew he didn't know anything. She just liked making him ask. Generals used them to write reports back to their kings or queens without fear of interception. You can write a letter to anyone or anything in one way or another. The letter will find them and never fall into the wrong hands. It doesn't leave a mark on your end either. Of course, they're used more commonly for trysts or separated lovers. She smirked at the look on his face. Well, well, if I didn't know better, I'd say I just convinced the boy to keep it for himself. He shrugged, like, what can you do? And put it into his pocket. You never know when you might get a chance at a tryst. Wise words, she said. Now look, these scales are used by tailors in storms, often led to drownings, almost the love-struck. But summoning a mermaid is the most reliable way to change an unfriendly tide. Finch was paid for his treasures in bound stacks of leaf green paper, tissue thin. What is this? We call them fairy gold, said Grandma June. It's a joke that stuck. Whatever world they're in, they become that world's currency, and they keep their form until they've passed through 7 times 7 pairs of hands. You're telling me that after 49 people have touched them, they turn back into little pieces of green paper? Right. Long after they could possibly be traced back to you. Yeah, but what about the 49th guy? Save your tears for the 50th. Would you rather I pay you in stock? Ianthe elbowed him hard. He took the fairy gold. Before they left, Grandma June caught up Ianthe's blank-faced watch in her knobbly fingers. How about this? Looking to sell? Ianthe snatched it back and shoved it down the front of her dress. Not today, Grandmother, she said in a voice like iron. After that, Finch decided he'd keep an eye on that pocket watch too. When they walked out, his treasure bag was empty, the unsold walnut in his jacket, and the general's pen in the front pocket of his new shirt that the needle had sewn for him. It was nice, a little piratey, but soft. A first day of school feeling was coming over him, that imminent sense of being left behind. This, he figured, was where he and Ianthe parted ways. Once they split up the money, he wondered whether one of those books in the gray library told a tale that would drop him back on Earth, and whether he was really ready, finally, to read it. But Ianthe said nothing as they made their way up the street. It was nighttime now. The sky scattered with strange stars, and half the shops were closed. The windows, still lit, held darker promises than they had before the stars came out. Finch didn't stop to stare. He was too distracted. He felt the metal of the general's pen, warm through the weave of his shirt. He felt the weight of it, heavy as unspoken words. In his mind, he was already writing a letter. That's the end of chapter 24. Chat, do you think they're going to get together? Like, at this point in the book, that's what I'm asking myself. Do we think Alice and Ellery are going to be reunited? Or do you think that they're going to have this like long lost lovers thing happen and then never actually come back to each other? Very curious. I can't tell one way or the other. Because I thought that they were going to like get back together at the end of the first book. And when Ellery was like, nah, I'm going to stay here. You go do your own thing. I was like, okay, well, that's the end of that. But I see getting together with your hearts. I don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious to see if they end up getting together or not. How many chapters do we have left? Yeah, we're still about halfway through the book. We have plenty of time. Let's hydrate and we'll read a little bit more. Let me see how many chapters are left. I'm thinking maybe 1 or 2 more chapters tonight. And then we'll probably yap for a little while before the end of stream. Let me see how long these chapters are. Oh yeah, we can get through 2 more chapters for sure. 2 more? Yeah, it's been 3 hours, Alex. 2 more chapters and then we'll talk for a little bit. And then it'll probably be 1 a.m. by then. We'll see how fast I read, okay? I'm so sad though. It's a really good book, isn't it? It's very good. It's easy to get invested in. Okay. Chapter 25. Come home. Ella's last text to me before I'd turned my phone off, and I wanted to, so badly. I wanted to kick the bottom of our front door to unstick it when I came in, and fit my fingers into the grooves of the fugly, hand-thrown pottery mugs we ate our yogurt from. I wanted to see the crown of Ella's hair under the living room lamp, the sides of the couch too high to know what she was reading until I came in close. I wanted her to flip back to the page with the folded corner, to read aloud the lines she'd liked and had saved for me. I wanted to slip back into our domestic routine like it was warm wax. Instead, I walked on shaky legs to the parking garage's elevator, my body feeling like it had been run through a laundry wringer. I texted Sophia as I went. If you're working on clearing my name, work faster. Hans's parents just threatened to kill me with a wrench. Then, because it looked a little more dire typed out than I thought it would, I'm sorry, by the way. Does it suck that your best friend's such an asshole? Seriously, though, I'm sorry. She still hadn't gotten back to me when I walked into the hotel lobby. Felix was gone from behind the desk, replaced by a pink-haired woman I'd never met. Even her brows and lashes were the color of bubblegum. She looked like something in a bakery window, a cake that bit you back. And when she spotted me, her face went from bored to pin straight. She had a phone in her hand, and I was pretty sure she used it to take my photo. I threw her a dirty look as the elevator doors closed. The air inside it pushed against my ears. As the elevator rose, the pressure climbed, and then cracked like an egg when the doors opened. I was left rubbing away the memory of pain and the sense that I'd been about to hear something when the pressure let up. That if I'd just listened closer, words would have broken through. The hallway was empty as ever, and I wondered who slept behind those doors, who read, or stared, or waited for some unfathomable thing. Were they fearful? Were they angry? Were they trying to figure this out too? In my room, I checked under the bed and inside the closet before stepping into the shower, because I'd been on the receiving end of vigilante justice once today, already, and that was enough. The shower I took was so cold it made me gasp. But when I stepped out, the mirror was fogged all the way over. I stopped, 1 foot out and 1 foot in, because words were written in the fog in slashed uppercase letters, like a scattering of toothpicks. You're not listening. I stared a few seconds, my skin prickling over in goosebumps so sudden they hurt. And then I banged my elbow, yanking my towel down and around me, and slipped out of the bathroom sideways. I pulled clothes on over my damp skin, the grossest feeling in the world, and hightailed it to the lobby. The pink-haired photo taker was still at the desk. She looked a little scared as I stalked over, a little thrilled. "Hey, is this hotel haunted?" Her face relaxed. "Oh, yeah, of course it is." "By who?" Now she looked downright skeptical. "Really?" "By us. By Hinterland. You think only the living came through?" The X stories carried ghosts with us. The figurative kind, mainly. All those who hadn't made it here, or hadn't chosen to come. The echoes of our stories. All the things we'd done or hadn't when the spinner still held us in her grip. Some of our ghosts, though, were literal. Fairy tales were thick with them. Slain brothers, punished parents, a skin-crawling volume of dead brides. All those white-wrapped girls perched on the spindle point between maidenhood and the wedding night. I couldn't believe I'd never considered that some might have slipped from the hinterland after the rest of us. The pink-haired girl's name was Vega, and it didn't take much prompting to get her to tell me how I could summon a ghost. "You could lay out a dish of cat's milk," she said, taking it off. "Just don't let your reflection show in it. Whatever you do. Reciting poetry can do it if the ghost likes your voice. Burn a bridal bouquet. That one's easy. Pull out your eye teeth and hold one in each hand. Let's see, what else?" "I think that's enough," I said, hurried. "Really helpful, though, thanks." I started to walk away and then stopped. "Did you take my picture earlier?" She fiddled with the ends of her hair. "Yes? Why?" Because you're her, right? Alice 3 times? The one who..." She made a series of furtive hand motions. "You know." "I'm nobody," I said firmly. "I didn't do anything. If anyone asks, if anyone talks about it, you tell them that. And watch out for yourself, okay?" "Okay," she said, looking disgruntled. And then, in a louder voice as I neared the door, "Another thing you could try is having sex. Ghosts are drawn by desire, or they might just be nosy." Faced with the decisions of coming back with a bunch of flowers or downloading a dating app, I headed to the good bodega a few blocks away, where flowers were sold but cat's milk was in short supply. I grabbed a bouquet and a $1 lighter and a carton of whole milk just in case, and I threw in 2 Kit Kats because I hadn't eaten those in ages. And back in the hotel, Vega had left her spot. I dropped a thank you Kit Kat next to her bell and headed upstairs. "You're not listening," said the message in the mirror. I hadn't been. To the voice following me in and out of dreams. To the trio, the words of the little ones in white. Every story is a ghost story. If you're looking for an answer, seek out your ghosts. But I was ready to listen now. I could attempt the summoning in the lobby, but Vega struck me as nosier than a pervy ghost, and I didn't like the idea of inviting the dead into my room. The hallway, I decided, I'd head up to my floor and pick a patch of carpet. I waited until dark and then crept out of my room, a clutch of cheap carnations hanging from one hand and the milk in the other. In a bag around my wrist was the lighter and a paper coffee cup. The hallway had the aggressive destabilizing name sameness. Oh my gosh, words. Also, I see that sleep token mention. I walked down and around until I found a little alcove holding a dusty rubber plant and a sconce with once burned out bulbs. I pushed the plant into the corner, and then I knelt, filled the coffee cup with milk, and lifted the lighter. And realized I hadn't thought this through. What would I do with the flowers when they really started to burn? How quickly could I stamp out the carpet if it caught? Fuck it. I held the lighter up to the carnation's frilly cup. The flame lapped at the petals, but they didn't catch. And then it popped and blinked out. The lighter's hot metal burned my thumb. I dropped it, cursing, and tried again, and again, and finally I pulled the receipt from my pocket and lit that, sticking it amongst the flowers. The flame took. The flowers released the barest breath of green before starting to sink, and when they were just fiery enough to make panic bite at my neck, I started to recite. I went out to the hazel wood because of fire. I shook my head and started again. Out of the ash, I whispered, I rise with my red hair, and I eat men like air. Daphne flashed in front of my eyes. I blinked her away, and I thought of the ghosts who might be gathering over my head even now. Thumbprints on their throats and bellies bright with blood, yellowed lace embroidered slippers, eyes full of retribution or jealousy because I lived. Good thing I'd had a goth period, or maybe I was in a goth period. At any rate, I could still dredge up some Poe. The ring is on my hand, and the wreath is on my brow. I raised my voice, and the hand holding the bouquet. Satin and jewels grand, and many a road of land, are all at my command, and I am happy now. The words were already spooky in the quiet room. The last handful of them bent, refracted as they hit my ear, making my voice sound strange to me. The flowers smoldered, orange rills and blackening petals. I waited. Do you think it worked? The voice, right by my ear, made me shriek. I looked at the girl sitting cross-legged beside me and almost did it again. She was, in fact, a bride. Her hair had been red, I think, her face lushly freckled. A wedding dress gripped her by the neck, and she was a glass chess piece in 1,000 shades of blue, hands resting on her knees. She nudged at the milk with an incorporeal toe. What am I, a fairy? Why don't you try pouring it on the flowers? It took a few startled seconds for me to understand, and then I dropped the flaming carnations and tipped the entire gallon over them. Milk doused the flames, drenched the carpet, splashed and seeped onto my jeans. The bride rose a few inches off the ground, as if the milk might damage her dress. Sorry, I gasped. I didn't mean to. No harm. I hate this dress. I didn't even die in it. She looked down at its long white body. I died in a nightgown. What do you say to that? It was a pretty dress. It was a monstrosity. I was the first bride, you see, before they learned to stop wasting that lace. Just a harbinger, really, a lesson for the final bride. What happened to her? Nothing good. I crouched in milk, beside the wreckage of burnt flowers, but I didn't dare move. Thank you for coming, I said, too solemn, sounding like the host of the world's saddest dinner party. Took you long enough to invite me. Her fingers dipped into the mess of milk. Next time, try whiskey. It made my husband's breath sour, but it looked like a jewel in the cup. I've always wanted to taste it. Why did you want to talk to me? I knew your grandmother, in the hinterland. We were friends. Althea. She wasn't really my grandmother. All the same, she asked me to tell her my story. I hadn't known I had one. Well, she wasn't doing it to be nice. She was stealing it to make money. Her voice cut its teeth against the air. Two things can be true at once. She wavered out, then in again, like her attention was elsewhere. It probably was. Maybe she could split herself into pieces, 2 or 3 or 10, make the lights blink on Broadway and a phantom wind whistle down 2nd Avenue, all the while sitting here with me. That's really it. You wanted to talk to me about Althea. No, I'm willing to talk to you because of Althea. She helped me once, and a debt weighs heavier than a wedding ring. What I have to say has nothing to do with her. She closed the lit lamps of her eyes, appearing to breathe in deep, and then she flickered out completely. Every light in the place pulsed one by one, like her spirit was a kite whipping through them. And then she was back in front of me, gaze keener than the rest of her. I forget, she said. What were we speaking of? You have something to tell me. My fingers made impatient indents on my thighs. You've been trying to speak to me. Oh, she considered, tilting her head to the side, and tilting, till it hung unnaturally, and I could see the mottled bruising under her throat. Yes, I've been wanting to tell you that you're haunted. Did you know? My heart squeezed quick as a fist. Haunted by who? She reached out one thin blue hand and gently, placed it on my chest. The feeling was awful, an ice cream headache right down to my spine. Ghosts within, ghosts without. How do you carry it? What are you talking about? I kept my voice level just barely. Who is haunting me? What do you mean, ghosts within? What does this have to do with the murders? I mean just what I say. That's all you'll get out of me, she smiled, brightening as she did. I could count her freckles now and see the gap between her front teeth. I get to speak in puzzles if I like. It's the purview of the dead. I was suddenly curious. Are you happy, then? You don't want to rest? Rest? Rest where? In the hinterland the dead could walk. Death's halls. We could eat at his table. If we pass on here, we only... Stop, I said quickly. Please. There were still some things I didn't want to know. You'll learn for yourself in time, she said coolly. And when it is your time, consider making a haunting, if you can. This world is a far better place to be dead. I love it. I curdled their milk, beat the eggs in their shells, turned their clothes inside out and rattled the windows with stones. And when she smiled, her teeth glistened like bits of sea glass. Here, they call me a nightmare. Hallucination. Curse. They don't believe in ghosts. So you really know nothing about the murders? No hints even? You can tell it in riddles if you want. It's not such a disastrous thing, dying, she said tartly. It's very nice once you're used to it. A tremor ran through her, like she was a flickering water glass, and she started to fade. She was dim as an Edison bulb when her eyes snapped back to me. I could see the long hollow of the hallway, visible behind her lips. One more thing. You have a friend who waits for death, yes? She didn't wait for me to answer. Tell her. I talk to him sometimes. Tell her. She won't have to wait too long. It's the end of chapter 25. My gosh. I didn't know that I was going to be making a guest appearance in this book chat. They even made her blue. What are the odds of that, huh? A ghost that likes whiskey. Do we have a casket? Yeah, it sounds like it. Next time, offer whiskey. Maybe I should change my offerings, chat. Okay. Let's hydrate, and then we'll barrel into 26. Oh, hi, Levi. Didn't know you were still here. It's past midnight. Are you sleepy? Whiskey for my ghostie. Nar? Nar, you're not sleepy? Huh. Why do I have a hard time believing that? I'm being a gnome and burglaring. Oh, I see. Well, that would explain why you're not sleepy. You're playing a game. Burglaring? Okay, chat. Let's get into the next chapter, shall we? Okay. Chapter 26. Finch wrote a love letter. At least, he thought he did. Back in the towered castle, In the fossil world, in a spare gray bedroom on the second floor, he circled a few times before sitting down, gingerly, on the edge of the bed. He pulled out the silver pen, and for a long time, he just thought about New York, about the first time he saw Alice, the spark that grew into curiosity and then fascination, that tumbled into and out of nightmare, her skeptical eyes and cropped hair and husky, hard-won laugh that sounded 20 years older than her voice. He touched the pen to the blank ink cover of I Capture the Castle, the book that was nearest at hand when he packed, and the only one he'd taken from the hinterland. Ink bled steadily into the page from its point, wicking away. I am lost, he wrote. I am lost and stupid and doing this all wrong. He watched the words disappear. Then he was off, writing in a fever, the words vanishing into the page, barely remembering what he'd said from one line to the next. His head was full of giddy images of Alice, her face tilted over the letter, the elfin bend of her ear peeking through her yellow hair, her fierce gaze eating up the words. When he finished, his eyes were so wide he could feel them drying out. Every time he closed them, a framework burst in his chest, of anticipation and anxiety and a kind of sweet panic. He recognized the feeling from the time he dropped a carefully copied out Neruda poem into his 9th grade crush's locker. Jesus Christ, he whispered, laughing at himself, and then rolled over and shoved his face into the pillow. It smelled like dead people's dandruff. He said her name into it and felt shy. This is so fucking cute. Earlier that day, though Finch wasn't sure how to account for days stretched across multiple worlds, Iolanthe had walked him to the 6 corners, then left him there as she darted back down the street. She returned carrying 2 bottles of carbonated lemony drink, not sweet, and a stuffed, greasy-bottomed bag that smelled like heaven. They sat on a curb and ate right there. You don't want to eat in the gray world, she said, around a mouthful of something midway between a bow and a niche. Death gets into everything, makes it taste like black licorice. It's the same way in the hinterland, in the land of the dead. Finch was going, ha, ha, to cool his mouth after biting into a boiling hot pastry. Now he stopped short. Wait, you were in the land of the dead? Of course, I went everywhere. That's amazing, he could have said. Incredibly foolish. Terrifying, to be frank. Extremely metal, he finished finally. How'd you get in? I followed the woodwife. She looked at her hands, nearly sectioning her niche to let the steam out. How about you? How did you get in? Finch stilled. He hadn't told anyone. He'd gone into the hinterland's underworld. He thought he never would. Those were dark days, best looked at sideways, his nihilist expat period, when life was one long string of double dog dares that could have killed him. I followed Ilsa's golden thread, he said quietly. In and out again. I knew it. I could tell right away that you're like me, that you've come too close to it. She smiled faintly and touched her neck, where his was striped with a scar. I think you've come too close to death more than once. She had no scars he could see, but right when Finch had the oddest vision of Iolanthe as a creature many times mended, he could also see the cracks in her carapace and the light that came through. I think you have too, he said, and then looked away, unsettled. They didn't speak again until they were done eating. Iolanthe stood, pulling out the book that had brought them there. Brace yourself, she said. The doors can be rough on a full stomach. Back in the dead world, Ianthe assigned them each a room on the castle's second floor. He figured they'd be massive and opulent, like the library, but his had the constrictive, smoke-stained feeling of a chamber built in an age when everyone had 10 kids and died before they were 30. He'd had the sense, closing the door, of sealing himself away in a tomb. He wrote his letter to Alice, lay down, got up, lay down again, and when he peered out the window, a glassless circle that the size of his 2 hands cupped, he saw the kingdom laid out like fallen dominoes. Again came the tricksy flixer of distant movement. Finally, he climbed under the bed, moldering blanket, certain he'd never sleep. The light hadn't changed when he woke, chilled with sweat. His body turned like the arm of a clock and his covers kicked to the floor. In sleep, he'd flown over the hinterland. The land wrinkled beneath him like the surface of a globe. He'd watched as mermaids beached themselves, singing torch songs, and the last of the castle came down. It could have been just a dream, but maybe he'd seen a true vision of the world's last gasp. Still caught in the drifting head space between sleep and dreaming, he wrote. He wrote Alice another letter. It felt like he was talking to himself. It felt like she was right beside him. He wasn't sure which instinct to believe. The dream and the letter left him with a heartburn hurt and the need to move. He laced up his shoes, slipping out of the room and past Ianthe's. He figured he'd poke around the library, but halfway down the stairs he heard a woman's voice. Ianthe's, coming from below. His stomach seized, but when he found her, she was alone, sitting at a long table singing a wordless song, breaking between verses to drink from her red glass bottle. Finch stood in the shadow of the stairs. Against all odds, he knew the song. Ingrid sang it sometimes on late nights with Janet in her lap, and a glass or two of cider gone to her head. Ingrid had put words to it, of hope and longing and the distant shores of home. Ianthe's voice turned it into something else, something raw-edged and utterly alone. He could taste the salt on it, imagine her singing it as she sliced through the hinterland sea, a fly speck on its waters, the stars peering down, and when he couldn't take any more, he crept back up the stairs. Her room was next to his, a similarly medieval bolt hole of rough walls, picturesquely lump bed, and washing stand and basin. Her bed was undisturbed, her bag propped carefully against its foot, and before he could lose his nerve, Finch crossed down and opened it. Inside, impressively rolled, was an all-black rainbow of clothes, an off-brand Walkman, and a handful of unmarked tapes, toiletries, an array of currencies in a leather pouch, 4 packs of Silver Siren brand cigarettes, canteen, hairbrush, needle, and thread. And below all of that, wrapped in a pair of long johns, the thing that figured he was looking for, the thing she thought was worth hiding, a book, a photo, and a little metal rabbit. The rabbit looked like a game piece. It was heavy, its fur filigreed and its eyes inset with minuscule pink stones. He put it gently aside and inspected the photograph. It was different from photos on Earth, more intense. It looked less like paper than a dark and bright window onto a breezy day when a younger Ianthe had grinned, squinting into the camera, snugged up against a slender, dark-haired man who looked like Rimbald. His face held the kind of temporal beauty generally revered for those who die young. He stared at the photo a while before placing it carefully back into her bag, and then he turned to the book. It was a children's picture book. The Night Country, it was called, with illustrations that saturated colors of candied fruit. This is not a fairy tale, it began. This is a true story. Finch paged through the book. It was a tale sparsely told of a mischievous little girl, the daughter of a court magician. When her kingdom is descended upon by a plague of golden locusts, the little girl and her best friend, the king's youngest son, steal her father's books to try to discover a way to save it. First, they accidentally enchant every mirror in the castle to say true and embarrassing things to anyone who looks into them. Then, they summon a lazy demoness who tries to lead them astray. Finally, they find a spell that could save them, a spell that conjures a door into another world. That world is called the Night Country. And in its fertile air, the children rebuild their kingdom as they please, simply by dreaming it up. They create a world without vegetables or tutors or bedtime, full of rainbow-flanked ponies and candy fountains and an underclass of hard-working gnomes who build them stained glass cakes and clockwork wonders, like a beautiful pantomime princess to read to them, and an old wizard who sends them flying around the room. In the end, they don't let anyone else into their night country. They shut the door, leaving their parents and their siblings and everyone else to the plague of the golden locusts. Finch closed the book, feeling uneasy. Then he reopened it, just to see the illustrations one more time. There wasn't much to the story, but it gave him a feeling he couldn't place. He'd just reached the bit where the king finds the first golden locust inside of his royal egg cup when the door swung open. Iolanthe hung in the doorway, her posture dangerous. He crouched in place, her open bag beside him. For a long time, they just looked at each other. "Did you read it?" she asked brusquely. Finch nodded. "Good," she stayed, lightly swaying, in the doorway. "It's a true story, you know." Finch wasn't sure whether he should stand or remain seated. He settled for rising up on one knee. The pieces of what he knew about Iolanthe were stirring together like alphabet soup. The missing book in the library that she came out of, the picture book in his hands, and the pocket watch in hers, her sail across the hinterland's storied sea, and her journey through the underworld, the photo of her beautiful young man tucked away like a secret. "Who are you?" he asked her, not for the first time. He should have demanded a better answer before walking through a door traced in her blood. "I'm like you," she said, "one of the lost, a wanderer, worldless." "How do you know I'm worldless?" "Same way I knew you'd seen a door into death and walked through it." She knelt beside him and put a fingertip to the line over his throat, pressing closer to keep it there when he recoiled. "Same way I knew this would work, you and me." He spoke around the permanence graveled in his throat. "What do you mean, work?" "You're a searcher. We both are. Trying to get back something we lost. A home that no longer exists." She said it like she was a seer, but Finch was used to people telling him stories about who and what he was. It had been happening all his life. "Actually, I'm thinking about getting back to a girl," he said. "So I guess you don't know me too well." That broke the spell. Iolanthe fell back, her laugh short and surprised. So let me get to know you." She held his gaze, still so near he could smell the liquor on her breath. For an awkward moment he worried she was hitting on him, and then she grabbed the book. "True story," she said again, pointing to its cover. "What part of it is true?" "Maybe all of it. But the part that matters, the Night Country, that is true. I meant for you to read it. It's what we're waiting for. It's what we're seeking." We're not seeking anything. I don't even understand what that means." "A world made to order, full of everything you'd like. That's what a night country is. Doesn't that sound pretty? Doesn't that sound nice?" It did, For a minute, Finch's mind sparked like a flint against all the things he wanted, and then the sparks went out. It sounds like a nightmare, he said, because it did, when you thought about it. A world where you gutted yourself on your own desires until you were as awful as the little girl in the picture book. There were enough worlds that could make you into monsters out there. Why make another one? It's the very last secret, Ianthe whispered. She poked him again, this time in the chest. How many can say they've walked through a world made from pieces of their own heart? I saw your face when I talked about sailing the hinterland sea. You wanted to do that too, and now you never will. Oh well. You want to read every book in the library, visit every world. How can you say no to the night country? You can't, she answered herself. It'll be one more thing to haunt you. Don't touch me, he said, rubbing his sternum. Back up. I can't think. She sat on her ass, feet on the floor and eyes amused. Sorry, I'm drunk, but I'm also certain. I'm inviting you to be my companion. Not that kind of companion. We'll get you back to this girl, but first, let's have an adventure. Why would I go with you? I know nothing about you. What's with this pocket watch? Why did Grandma June let you look through the spyglass? Where do you even come from? You need to hear my sad story to trust me, she shrugged. All right. I come from a world you've never heard of. So it's no good telling my story. I lost someone I loved, and it was at least a little bit my fault, and I ran away from that. I ran so far I couldn't find my way back. I've been gone so long I don't know what I'd be finding my way back to. Her voice went a little mean. How about you? Think that girl will still remember your name? Your face? Time gets slippery when you start walking through doors. She could be married by now. She could be dead. Her words were infecting him with a buzzing, low-grade panic. Alice married? Alice dead? Alice 30 years old, say, smiling at him politely? Letters? What letters? So why would I let any more time pass, he asked, if too much has gone already? Because if you do this for me, with me, if you do this for yourself, I'll make sure you get exactly where you need to go, and when. That's something you can do? She held up her pocket watch. I've got a few tricks. But why do you... Because I'm scared, she laughed a little. I'm finally going to get what I want, and I'm scared now. Don't make me do this alone. The last scavenger hunt Finch had gone on took him to a heavily fortified castle at the front of the ice mountains. Its moat swam with annihilating mist, but its drawbridge was down. He'd run across it. He'd moved through a torch-hung hall that felt like something out of a video game, down a winding staircase into echoing dungeons, and below them into a crypt. Each walled-in corpse marked by a bigger-than-life-size statue that peered at him with glimmering enamel eyes. He'd taken a rusted metal crown from the head of a surly-mouthed queen and a misty orb from the hand of a mage. Crouching next to this slippery, avid-eyed woman in her faded blacks, Finch felt the same way he had walking through that castle's courtyard. It was addictive, that cocktail of trepidation and desire. Walking on when you knew you should turn back. Saying yes when the right answer was so likely no. First promise me, he said, after the adventure, promise you'll get me back to her. And that's the end of chapter 26. And I think that's going to be the last chapter we read tonight. I would really like to yap with you guys for the next 30 minutes or so. So Alex, what did you think? What do you think's going to happen next? Silly. Hey, hey. Hi. That's my line? Oh, is it? Is it your line? Are you sure? It's my line, he says. I'm gonna get a little closer to you guys. So, Cass, what? If you're gonna ask me what I thought of that chapter, I loved it. I thought it was really cool. Um, what did you think of the chapter and what will happen next? Um, I I thought it was really cool. I thought the chapter was really cool. I think what will happen next is that Cass gets a blanket and gets Eepy. I already have a blanket, silly. But I definitely am getting a little Eepy, that's for sure. I'm just so comfortable and like doing these late night readings with the rain sounds and stuff. So cozy, just so cozy, you know? Seriously though, I did not know that this was going to turn into like like a I, a pseudo love story. It's kind of cute though. Like I'm not mad at it. I am kind of rooting for them, you know? Like I really want Alice and Ellery to find happiness. Do I believe that's going to happen? I don't know. I do not know. But I think it will be really fun to watch them try. Alice 3 times. Yep. Alice 3 times. Gosh, I'm so comfortable. Tomorrow morning, chat, we're going to be going live doing some art at 9:30 a.m. EST. I'm really excited for that stream too, because I kind of can't wait to work on what we're going to be working on. I'm going to be sketching, or I guess concepting, a friend's character design tomorrow. And I'm very excited about it. I have just very minute details, but it's gonna be fun to like just kind of sketch and see what, I guess, what faces come out of my sketches, what designs come to life, so to speak. I'm gonna miss it because of work. Oh no. Ooh, yeah, Yasu. So comfortable, so stay with us. Yeah. I mean, I will. I am. I'm so cozy, chat. I'm almost tempted to toggle on my blanket. I'm that cozy. Oh, hi, Ted. Hi, Teddy. How are you? I hope you're doing good. Oh, thank you for the nerd. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, and Computer Geek, you'll be happy to know I did figure out the streamer bot for my persona mask. So on Monday when I go live with Persona, it will automatically turn on for me. Oh, whoa, game night just ended and I'm on my way home. Oh my god, I hope you had so much fun. I hope you had so much fun, seriously. Bye. Oh, are you disappearing because Ted is here? Is that the joke? Is that what's happening? Don't leave me, Alex, please. Please don't leave. Big proud. Thank you. Yay, she did remember the persona mask. I did. I set it up today, guys. I set it up today. I was like, I can figure this out. I'm a big girl. I can figure it out. It was a blast. I think I'm behind on stream, so I think I need to leave, sadly. Oh, no. Yeah. Yeah, I might be behind on stream a little bit, but I love you, Teddy. I hope you get home safe. You guys remember at the beginning of stream when I was like, man, it's so cold in here. I'm so chilly. I have my blanket and I'm trying to warm up. Now, oh my gosh, now it's hot in here. Now it's hot in here. It's always one or the other. Love you guys. Love you too. Love you too. Get home safe. What what are you doing tomorrow, Alex? I'm gonna miss it because of work. I see. I see, I see. That's okay. I know the streams on Sundays, it was so highly requested that I stream in the morning. I'm going to give it a try for a couple of weeks. But I think Sundays are going to just be like I'm going to stream when I think it'll suit my schedule best, you know? I think main complication would be if you have a model switch midstream. Nah, that should be fine. That should be okay. Cuz the trigger is the game category, so that doesn't have anything to do with my model. Um the persona mask is only toggleable on this model, so it should turn on this model even if it's not active. So it should be good. Hmm. Well, Alex, I hope your workday tomorrow treats you kindly. Seriously. I hope it goes well tomorrow. And I hope you're able to get some sleep before then. I know sometimes you struggle to sleep. Aw, head pats. I forget I have those sometimes. Oh, that's another thing too, is I set up an exclamation point tip command. So that way if anyone does that again, it will be active. If you switch models and then switch back, will it keep the toggle? It should. It should, yeah, because I have to manually toggle it off. Insomnia be a pain. Yeah, for real. Trust me, from all the many times I've discussed it with Ez, I totally get it. Insomnia is a pain. Hmm. I am very lucky that I don't have it. I'm a sleepy girl, chat. I like to sleep too much. I can't even imagine myself with insomnia. I wouldn't recognize myself if I didn't get any sleep. And I already feel like I don't sleep enough as it is. Like if I got any less sleep than I already do, I don't know what would happen to me. I would be a shell of myself, I think. This is good to know. I don't VTube myself, but I love working on tooling. Yeah. So depending on the type of toggle you do, you can set it up to where it's like a timed thing, but on in this particular instance, I just have it set up where it'll turn it on no matter what, and then I have to just manually turn it off, you know? Why are you shaking me? Why are you shaking me? Don't shake me. I've been good, Alex. I've been so good. I don't deserve a shake. I don't deserve a shake. What is that for? It better be an affectionate shake. Again? Damn. What did I do? Oh, and did you set up coffee notifications? No. So I actually thought about that. And I figured there would be some people who donate that want to not be seen on stream. So I figured what I did instead. If you guys scroll down to my panels, I also put it there too. But stream elements will be an alert on stream, and then coffee will be no alert. So if you wanted to like donate anonymously or quietly, you know, that I wanted to make sure that that was an option for people to have too. Because some people are like that. Some people don't want the notoriety or the public gratitude, you know, and that's totally fine. So yeah, I thought leaving that option for people would be best. It's an affectionate shake, don't worry, okay. Okay, good. I feel so loved then. Maybe a little rattled, but definitely loved. Shaking me affectionately. I'm gonna get more water. You can anonymously. Yes, but the alert will still happen. So like, you know, there are people who mayhaps do not want the alert on stream. It does happen, believe it or not. I have quite a few people that think that way. Only shaking of Cass I do is shake in hugs. I fear I'm regretting a test I took hours ago. A test? Please explain. What kind of test did you take hours ago? Where's the... Why are we regretting? What are you regretting, Alex? What is it? What is it? A test? Which one? Which one? Is it a saucy test? Is it a test I've taken? Is it a test I've taken? I get what you're saying. That makes sense. One that you've done before. Oh! Alex, why are you regretting it? Why are you regretting it? Wait, can I know? Can I know? I won't look at it on stream. I'll look at it after if you share it, but I'm a curious little ghosty. I want to know. What? Oh, that kind. Yes, that kind. Sillies. Yes, that kind. Take me back to lunch with Cherry. We ate such a good... Okay, so we shared a cinnamon roll. It was a gigantic cinnamon roll. It was so good. For some reason, that's like coming up in my brain right now. Like, man, I want more of that cinnamon roll. That shit was so good. I need 1,000,000 of those. Wait, Cass is a little ghosty? But Cass is tall. I can be tall and also a little ghosty. I'm pretty sure that's allowed. I think I can be both. Little ghosty. That's me. I found the blueberry drink I'm gonna get soon. Really? Ooh. I want to know. I want to know what kind of drink it is. Is it like a tea or like a or just like a fruit drink? Is it alcoholic? I have so many questions. A blueberry drink. You can never go wrong with blueberry, chat. I'm just, not that I haven't said this before, but it is. Ooh. Ah, I can't wait. I hope it comes in a really aesthetic cup so you can share a picture of it. That's always fun. They always say you eat with your eyes first, so it's really cool when, like, drinks you're really excited about come in, like, I don't know, souvenir cups or, anything like that. Although most of the time, if you get a souvenir cup, it usually costs a little extra. Just in my experience. It's a blueberry margarita. Alex, that sounds so good. That sounds so good. Hell yeah. Oh my gosh, you're gonna have to tell me how it is. I bet it's gonna be great. I bet it's gonna be great. Low-key can't wait to sleep. I'm gonna be lights out immediately as soon as I lay down. I can feel it. I hope you guys are ready for morning voice casket tomorrow, because that is definitely going to happen. I'm going to roll out of bed. I did leave myself enough time to make coffee, though, tomorrow. So I am going to roll out of bed, make some coffee, and then I'll go live. Gotta get some coffee in me. But yeah, I'm excited to do art. Art tomorrow is going to be so much fun. So much fun. I guess I should look for someone to raid out to. I don't know. Maybe I'll look for a new person. I love morning voice Cass. You've only experienced her once. Already addicted. Still with blanket though. Yes, I am still with blanket though. Indeed, indeed. Do I have friends live right now? Anyone in the same category, potentially? Not the same category. Oh, but Kisa is live. That is helpful. We can raid Kisa. She's such a cute, cozy little streamer. Good to know. Yeah, I'm glad she's live. Morning after cast does hit different for real. Right? You guys get casket at night and then casket in the morning. I just, I don't know. Maybe one of us should make breakfast. What did you guys think? You think one of us should make breakfast tomorrow? I might have some eggs. Cass, what is it? What is it? What is it? Cass, with that post-book clarity? Not the post-book clarity. Oh my god. Yes, the yawns are coming. The test? Where do you want me to send? If you want just me to see it, then you can just DM it to me. But if you want to send it in the server, I would probably send it in one of the DGen channels. Up to you, Pookie. But I'm definitely curious. I want to know. I'll dig out mine too. I know you've probably seen it before, but I'll dig it out and send it to you too. A second. Yay! Yay! I love your laugh. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm really trying not to be loud right now. Since we're in ASMR and I'm pretty sure that there's people here sleeping, I'm really trying not to be too loud with my laugh, but I just can't help it. You guys crack me up. I feel like my thoughts are all over the place right now, but I just remembered that the book that we're reading just name dropped the title. That was really cool. Oh, hey, Cheesy. Hi, Cheesy Berber. How are you? I think I saw you pop up earlier while I was reading. I'm sorry I couldn't respond right away. I hope you're having a good night. That I ain't cheating? No, definitely not. Definitely not. Are you talking about Cherry? No, I'll tell her you're cheating every day. I have sent it to you. Thank you, Alex. No, that beautiful redhead is my ride or die. I'm not gonna lie to her. Absolutely not. You know what? Now I'm realizing the term ride or die probably doesn't apply to me, does it? probably doesn't apply to me. I've probably expired. That term is probably expired with me. Time to tell Cherry you're cheesing all over the place. Ayo. I mean, she does make me smile a whole lot. You guys. What am I gonna do with you guys? Okay. Shout out, Cherry. So you hate me. Oh, I don't hate you. I love you. I do. I love you. I just, I love her too. I can't lie to her. I just can't. Can't do that. I also don't have contacts. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. I know for a fact if I said anything, I'm getting quoted, so I'm staying quiet. Wow. Well? Well? Well, Alex, bitch, it's Monday. Oh my god. What are you gonna do with us? Well, read to us, hang with us, accept affection from us, to name a few things. You're right, I am really good at accepting affection from you guys, huh? I mean, I do, but only for special occasions. These quotes are fun. Quotes are fun. To summon Casket, you need 1 ring of salt, 1 basket of blueberries, strawberries in a pentagram, and a picture of Leon in the middle. That is true. That was one of the quotes. I think I did 10 quotes when I was testing this command. So I'm glad that one made it in. I'll fight her with my mouth on hers. Ayo. Ayo. Any Leon, anywhere, anytime. Yep, and I stand by that. And I stand by that. I do, I do. It's wholesome, alright? I forget the quote number I'm looking for. I don't know. Okay, as much as I love Nox, I loved Casket first, so therefore, by process of elimination, Casket is... Oh, God. Soda. Haunting me. He's not even here. I read before I said. Okay, chat. I'm sleepy. I think it's about that time. I'm gonna go ahead and send us to Kisa. She is doing some just chatting. Seems like she's... Her stream has music going, but it's not too much. It should be fine. Alright, chat. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you for being with me, reading this book with me, having a nice little cozy night. I hope everyone sleeps so well tonight. Again, like I said before, tomorrow I'm going live at 9:30 p.m. I mean, 9:30 a.m. Oh my gosh, could you imagine? Thank you for stream, my favorite Goshi. Aw, Alex. Thank you for being here with me, seriously. Here are my raid commands, you guys, okay? So this one is for my subscribers. Please copy and paste this when we get over into the next chat, okay? And then this one is for everyone else. Alrighty. I'm going to be live in the morning bright and early at 9:30 a.m. Wait, Pookie. Oh, I'm waiting. What am I waiting for? Yes. Yes, love. Thank you for stream. You're welcome. Thank you guys. Seriously, thank you for hanging out with me. It means a lot to me that you guys like these ASMR streams. I know I'm just like a ghost sitting here reading to you, but it's fun for me. It's fun that we get to do this together. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Stay your usual beautiful self. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I will if you will. How about that? Make sure you stay yourself too. With raid messages, is it head mods or streamers that can do the command? I think it's anyone. I think it's any mods can do it. You can try it if you want. If you do the !! raid sub or raid follow, it should come up. Deal? Okay. Okay, King, it's a deal. Thanks for the stream. Your voice is a blessing to have. Aw, thank you guys. Thank you. Yeah, there you guys go. Yes, so that's the raid command. Oh, peek. Oh, thank you so much for the follow, friend. Welcome to the afterlife. Welcome, welcome. Before we end stream, please don't forget to claim your daily pieces of fruit, okay? Hi, hello. Lovely to have you here. Geek can as well. Yes, I think everyone can. I think everyone can. I don't have a limit on it. Guy, wonderful to have you here. Thank you for popping up. We are ending in just a couple minutes. I am a sleepy ghosty. It is 1 a.m. for me. Oh, hell yeah. You guys go ahead and dig before we end. Apparently anyone can do the command, not just mods. That's true. I made it so that way anyone can do it. Okay, chat. Get your last minute digs in. I'm gonna go ahead and start the raid. I love you very much. Like I said, we are raiding my friend Kisa. She is in just chatting. She does have some music on, okay? So if anyone here would like to remain in the ASMR category, I do not blame you. She is listening to very calm music, though. It's not intense or anything like that. So you guys, please enjoy the rest of your night, okay? I'll see you next time. I'll see you tomorrow morning, okay? Let's have some coffee together. All right, guys, sleep well. Good night. Good night, good night. See you tomorrow. Sleep well, chat.